Hello, everybody, and welcome to PAPAtv Live. Tonight we are going to be covering some really exciting gameplay, or maybe not so exciting, but we hope it'll be exciting. And we have two games for you tonight, Monster Bash and Fire. We just got back last weekend from the Louisville Arcade Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a really fun trip for a lot of us, and we had a successful tournament down there. And we're excited to be back here. We have tonight's broadcast, and we also have a broadcast for you next Monday. My name is John Replogle. I'm here surrounded by Doug Polka and Fred Cochran on the microphone. Good evening, guys.
Hi, John.
Evening, John.
So I want to start out. Doug, you had some information you wanted to start out with talking about Path of Play.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to our gaming partner, Path of Play, Mike in Toronto. This is his charity. You can visit their website at pathofplay.com. On April 28th coming up, they have their worldwide fundraiser, and you can learn more about that at pathofplay.com/popday. It's POPDAY. And what it is basically it's a day for play for everybody. So they encourage people to go out and get teams and get sponsors. So you get your group together, you play games for the day, you try and get sponsors, and you raise money for the charity all at the same time. It doesn't have to be a stream, it doesn't have to be live, it just has to be a bunch of people getting together and playing games for a day, and then donate to Path of Play. You can sign up for your team at pathofplay.com/popday.
Sounds good, Doug. Thanks a lot for that information. Later tonight, I know we're going to be revealing some of the games that are going to appear on the last Papa Circuit Finals. Gosh, I was having a hard time with the name.
Circuit Finals, John, yeah.
Circuit Finals. And so we'll be revealing those in between when we stop playing Monster Bash and before we start playing Fire.
Can talk a little bit about our winners at Louisville as well.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
We'll do that then.
We'll do something. I don't know what John's going to decide what we're going to do, but we'll do something.
Don't make me decide.
We'll do whatever
please.
John says.
Oh, well, that I like.
Yeah.
I like where you guys are going with this. I think I'm going to stick with this plan. Okay, I am in charge now. So now that I'm in charge, all right, here we go. Okay, so tonight we're going to be playing Monster Bash first. Fred, you have prepared a awesome 45-minute segment where you're going to tell us everything there possibly ever could be known about Monster Bash in 45 seconds.
Okay, I was going to say, it's not 45 minutes, it's 45 seconds. But with Monster Bash, get multi-balls. There's a few ways to get multi-ball. With 6, you get multi-ball. 6 hits to Frank, starts Frankenstein multi-ball. 6 spinner hits, lights mosh pit multi-ball. 6 monsters, lights Monster Bash. 6 instruments in mode completions, lights Monsters of Rock. And then Frank then beans. So Frankenstein multi-ball is a go-to strategy since he's a monster, and multi-ball freezes timers. After starting a multi-ball, bean Frank to score jackpots. There goes Frank then beans. Mashed potatoes. Mosh pit multi-ball is also accessible and can be used to bring in modes before and after Frank. Shooting the spinner 6 times lights the scoop on the right, and spinner is good for points.
Wow. Okay, so we're done with Monster Bash. We don't even need to play it now. We've successfully told you everything there is to play. Let's bring up competitor number 1. Hailing from scenic Mount Washington, Chris Stevens.
State champion of Pennsylvania this year.
It definitely is very scenic.
Gosh.
Who did he beat in the finals?
Shut up.
He beat some guy. He beat some guy with a big long ponytail and a scraggly beard.
By 30,000 points in Game 7.
Oh, that's the difference
that's
between number
beautiful.
1 and number 2 right there. John.
Hey, it was a great match.
It was a blast. I kind of felt like picking Meteor for our final game was not the best choice, but I edged it out.
Yep.
That's all that matters, man.
I got you back the next day.
You certainly did.
So I want to see some Monsters of Rock action in this game.
Monsters of Rock.
Yeah, let's go all the way.
Yes. I love how Doug's...
Set the goals high. Give the people what they want, John.
What they want is for, just good gameplay. Good pinball. Oh, my goodness. There's a danger.
Yeah, this plays one a little bit weird. It's got some weird backspin going on with it.
What was that?
And it's
That's a
set
good
up.
shot. That's what that was.
It's set up a little bit different than your normal Monster Bash.
Yeah, this is the Pinburg Monster Bash, I believe. So if you're prepping for the Pinburg tournament, you want to watch how weird this one's acting, and then it'll get weirder by the time Pinburg
Well, we
comes
put the
around.
post rubbers back on. We put the ball saves back on. We've turned extra balls back on.
Oh,
'Cause
my.
during practice, this game was just having its way with everyone.
Freshly shocked by the text here at Papa. These games play pretty brutal. Even when I tell them I say, hey, Dan, make it a little bit easier for us so that we can show some deep gameplay.
So-
I don't think they understand what making a game easier is.
No, because they go into like just normal mode like at Pinburg or at Papa and set it to the way they would normally do it there. I think it's kind of almost instinctive.
So let's talk a little bit about tournament play on Monster Bash versus the. You gave all that interesting information about how to do stuff, but in tournament play, like things might change.
Yeah.
And I see Chris is actually going for something that's a very common tournament strategy for our upper level players, which is to just shoot creature. Now, I don't want to actually show a video of Chris just shooting creature
Yeah.
because that would be boring. But a lot of players will just shoot creature over and over again until they win. And
Just because it's safe, or
it's a safe shot. It's you can, if you get the hang of the shot, you can do it effectively. And if you know what the return is going to do on that shot, you can either live catch, drop catch, or just let it dead bounce across.
And he tried to shoot it right there. He hit the post, and it just bricked. It went out to the right out lane pretty quickly there.
Up next
Yeah,
on the game, Jake Kolajczyk.
And Jake is currently employed by State Farm, and he's a local Tyco drum expert. So
Jake is not the state champion.
Well,
but he works at State Farm.
Tyco drumming, Jake.
He doesn't have his headset
why
on.
don't you explain what Tyco drumming is?
He doesn't have his headset on.
Okay, Jake's not going to explain this anything.
Jake didn't put the headset on purpose because he knew you were going to ask him questions.
I love asking Jake questions while he's playing. It's just like one of the cruelest things I could possibly do. Later in the broadcast, Jake is going.
See, if Jake had his headphones on, he would not heard it because they were noise canceling, but then he would have heard me talking, which is totally distracting. So
Tyco drumming is really cool. I've gone out and seen the performances quite a number of years ago now, I guess, at this point. But I've seen them play, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
So Evan Bookbinder's up now, and last week he was a weather enthusiast with about 17 different spellings. This week he's just international weatherman,
People probably don't know this, but he's an actual
meteorologist.
Like
Yep.
That's his legit job. We're not just making
He
fun of
lies to people on a regular basis and gets paid for it, which is pretty awesome.
I don't think he appreciates that very much. I wouldn't appreciate that.
But hey, okay, well,
I mean,
we can give him static about his Patriots hat since we're in Pittsburgh, but I kind of think it's kind of cool.
I mean, he can wear whatever hat he wants.
We're the underdogs now, though.
Oh, that's right. Poor Tom Brady and his 5 Super Bowls. That's awful. What a shame.
Okay.
So funny. People say I'm in the only job where you can get it wrong all the time and still get paid.
Yeah.
Do you get
know-
sick of hearing
but
that?
Do you know what else I do?
What's that?
Umpire, which is also the other
Oh,
job.
that's oh my
All
goodness.
the time and
So
get
you
paid.
do the same thing for both your jobs.
This is true. I'm really good at
I mean,
I
making
tell you,
questionable decisions.
I can tell you what, Evan. I used to
So am I.
I played hockey. But I used to referee hockey too. It's like polar opposites. It's like so awesome because like whenever at least I'm a player, I can club people with a stick. If I'm reffing, I can't do that. It's frowned upon.
that doesn't seem very fair. All
Well,
right.
it isn't, but it's anyways.
Evan's slap saves are getting angrier and angrier as you call him a liar. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, but he's playing very well. And actually, he's most of the way through Bride. Oh, that would have been a horrible shot to make
I
right
know,
there.
I didn't mean to.
So in front of,
Oh,
or
no.
not necessarily in front of each one, but you'll see there's a set of lights near each one of the shots, which
I
very
didn't even
clearly illustrates your progress towards completing that mode. So for example, on the left where creature is, there's a little plastic piece on the left that has 4 lights. So when you make all 4 shots, it'll all be lit up.
Those are those green lights there above
Yes.
the creature shot.
It's very similar to Attack from Mars in that respect. It's kind of like shooting the orbits and then the inner loop and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, this was an era they were pretty consistent on how they showed your advancement on the playfield.
And we got Aton up. Aton Goldman is creator of the Papa scoring software with 2 R's. Scoring software. I have to give James a shout out on that one.
Thanks, James Coons, for doing our production.
James Coon's producing today, everybody. We really appreciate it.
All spelling errors can be sent his direction. James Coons at ican'tspell.org.
Oh.
There we go. Scoring software with 1 R. I like it, James.
I think I'll get a good score on that, though.
So Aton is down.
Okay, Aton's feeling confident. He says he's going to come back and he's going to get it done.
So you're looking at Chris's progression. He's got the third light for Creature. He's almost got his Bride started. He needs 2 more shots to the right ramp. He's got, I don't know how many towards Drac. And I'm not sure what his progress is towards Mummy. But those are...
We'll see Mummy in a second.
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, no, because there's a skill shot.
That's correct.
So annoying.
Hate those skill shots.
Oh, he's got 1 more letter for Dracula, which is a good one. So he's set up pretty well here. If he can, and he doesn't want to start multi-ball right now.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he want to start multiple?
He wants to definitely bring at least a few of the monsters in to increase his jackpot points
So, yeah, I guess
and his completion towards his instruments.
the important thing to explain is all the modes in this game are timed. And so you have 30 seconds to complete each mode. But if you start a multi-ball, the modes continue.
Timer stop.
And the timer stops. So start modes, start multi-ball,
How many modes can
Profit.
you bring into a multi-ball?
all of them.
all of them.
All of them.
And then if you're able to, like we mentioned in the onset, if you get all 6 of the creatures, then you can get Monster Bash lit. But if you go into multi-ball with all of the monsters lit, and you're in multi-ball and you complete all of those modes, you could actually get Monsters of Rock, which is actually the wizard mode. It's the bigger wizard mode, and you get an additional, I think it's 50 million for finishing Rock before Bash. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
there is a bonus. I'm not exactly sure if it's 50 million, but that sounds something pretty cool.
It's a pretty
close.
big number, but it's pretty awesome too, because it's really a unique way to play a wizard mode. Just from a multi-ball, you can finish the game.
And a strategy I often use if I'm close to Monsters of Rock and I'm going to start a Monster Bash is I'll try to relight those modes before I start a Monster Bash, because that way I have a chance of going Monster Bash into Monsters of Rock right during the middle of the multi-ball,
Right.
which is really great.
So, question from chat from Steve Daniels: is there only 1 mode timer, or do they all have their own?
They all have their own.
So what was he running there? He was running Creature
So he has Creature
with
and
Frankenstein.
with Frankenstein. So it's a what I call the 2-stack.
Where did you get that name from?
Wendy's.
Double stack.
I like how you went 2 stacks so that you didn't have to worry about their copyright infringement.
That's right. But Doug asked, so
Oh my god.
John always gets a double stack when we get a Wendy's. But yeah, Evan has his extra ball lit by shooting the scoop. We do have extra balls turned on because, again, this game is playing a little bit difficult. So we wanted people to play and actually entertain the folks at home. So Evan just got his replay, which is set at like 24 million.
that was nice. A nice
slap
thing he
save.
did there. He did a good separation.
So he's actually got 3 things going at once, or did until that
Yeah, until you
unfortunate
said
drain.
something.
And now he has nothing going at once.
That was bad.
Yeah, forecast calls for double drain.
Partly cloudy with a chance of drainage.
Creator of the Papa scoring software, Aton
Leave it to
Kaufman.
me. I'll give you a good score.
With 1 R.
So if you were in Louisville this past weekend,
Oh,
you
no,
got to
I-
use the Papa scoring
Yeah.
software.
Positive reviews. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. Really easy. You could just use it right from your phone.
I love the buying tickets from the phone.
Yeah, you don't have to stand in line and deal with angry desk clerks.
You don't have to deal with any of us sitting at the desk,
That's right.
which makes it much easier. The interaction is much better. So, but I know Aton had a different iteration of scoring software for the PPO, and this one, I was talking to him about it. I thought the interface was a lot simpler, and he is dialed on those ramps right now.
Okay,
Look at
so the bride mode. The rules to bride mode, you must hit all 6 of the ramps again. So you have to hit the ramps 6
that.
times.
Oh man,
You can reset your timer on bride by hitting the center spinner.
that's correct. Goes back to 45 seconds.
All right,
Let's
so
see what Chris can do here. Like I said, he's set up again, similar to what he was last ball.
yeah, he didn't get it done.
No progress. I'm just gonna go big for game 1. I'm not trying to. I would typically start 1 or 2 of the modes or the monsters, and then start my Drac or my Frankenstein, just so I can get some good points and some good jackpots. But I'm gonna try to
All or nothing.
to
Go
get
for
it all.
it.
Yeah.
Doug appreciates all or
Jump
nothing.
in the pool.
Yeah, this is doing 1 or 2 is no.
No,
That's
let's
not
just
fun.
do that.
or just shoot
Or just do that, which
Frankenstein.
is worth nothing.
We're doing it the hard way. That's
Start
that's what
nothing.
we're doing.
Okay, so Chris has
400,000.
chosen to play hard mode.
So his jackpots will be, I think, 400,000 with nothing else, and then his super would be $1 million. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we got
There's
a
a-
super right there, so that's $1 million. But I
Now
think-
he can add more. He can make it a double and a triple super jackpot by shooting Frank if he hits other shots before he does it.
Can you start modes in the multi-ball?
No. No, you cannot.
that was nice.
Oh, look, that should have registered. This game's defective.
This game's defective. I've heard that before. Okay, so
Okay, good. Here we got the double cradle. Bride. And now, well, he had the right idea, just didn't quite hit Frank squarely enough that time.
400,000.
He wants to make sure he cashes this out. He's going to have a few seconds here.
Well, it was his last chance for a super, I think, right?
Yep, triple
give it to
super
him?
jackpot. And so that actually meant
Oh,
he did not complete Frankenstein, so he did not get the organ instrument. But he did start it. You can see the face of Frankenstein was lit. That means you started it. On the bottom where you see the instruments, that is if you've collected their instrument. So for the top, all the faces, Monster Bash. All the instruments, Monsters of Rock.
how many faces for extra ball, John?
4?
3.
3?
3. I guess it could be set differently.
Okay.
I believe it's 3. But normally in tournament mode, you're not
Well-
going to get points or extra balls for that anyways. You'll get points.
We are very happy that Jake is a local taiko drum expert because he's not very good at pinball.
Not a
tonight.
Monster Bash expert.
Wow,
You guys are mean.
Oh,
gentleman, John, I
we-
beg
we-
to differ.
we haven't even started on you, Evan. Just wait.
Brian Tessier in the chat says it's 3 faces on default for an extra ball.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Brian Tessier, one of the normal Papa crew, caught the Louisville plague and is at home relaxing.
Is that like the Louisville Slugger?
I guess it's kind of one and the same, actually, except
Yeah.
you're not getting hit with a bat. It feels like you got hit with a bat, though.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, so get well, Brian. I think I brought a little bit back, and normally after these big festivals and stuff, everybody gets a little bit of something.
Let's see what he goes for. Oh, that was almost a bride. Oh, what's a torso?
So, okay, so one of the keys to the game that it looks like Evan's going to try to go for right now is if you shoot it up the center shot through the spinner 6 times, you will get what am I saying? Mosh pit multi-ball, which is what I usually go for when I play. Holy smokes, that ball's flying.
Okay, one more shot to the center, and then you'll have it lit on the scoop.
So Mosh Pit multi-ball would be lit, and then he has to shoot the scoop where right now the extra ball is lit, which he just cashed in.
That was probably a good decision because that way it took the pressure off that shot later.
Correct, because he can still trap up with the ball save or whatever and try to go for that 6th shot.
Okay, so he will start Mummy. Here he comes. Ow! Oh, that was mean.
This is one of the funniest games ever.
I love this
The
game.
sound calls in this game are phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
So mummies will be getting up into the pop bumpers. That's a nice little nudge there. The ball's a little bit bouncy. It was a great nudge. So the dead bounce coming out of the scoop has been kind of squirrely, but it worked out great that time.
Oh, no.
But he tried to do a live shot, which is ill-advised
Terrible.
on that. So he still has a chance to get his mosh pit lit on this ball.
All right, so he needs what? Needs Wolfman and he needs Bride, and then he would have a chance at Monster Bash.
Yeah, he's got some good progress. Nice little chill.
There we go. There. Okay, so Mosh Pit is lit. He wants to
And a
not do
live
that. Okay, he actually wanted to bring a.
I know.
That's
It
okay.
was a reflex shot.
It's all right. We forgive you.
So as we see the monsters in the mosh pit, I'm right there next to him in the mosh pit, of course.
I wanted to finish Bride.
I love that animation.
Oh, I love it too. So during mosh pit multi-ball, there's 2 add-a-balls that you can get by shooting that center shot again, and you can get 2 add-a-balls. You start it with 2, you can get 2 add-a-balls. But then to get the jackpot, you got to shoot the Frankenstein ramp 10 times, and it'll get you to super jackpot. So if you can get into a rhythm by catching a ball on the left flipper and then just shooting in one on the right flipper, you can just shoot that ramp 10 times in a row and get super jackpot,
Nice play.
which is pretty gratifying.
Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Nice slap save. Wow, these slingshots are
this
very
is
active.
ridiculous.
It's redonkulous.
Oh,
Stay in.
Those outlanes are just vacuuming the balls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of that multi-ball was actually played really well, except for a player error when it came down on the right flipper. But otherwise, he almost got all he could out of it. So
And you can see his score with the mosh pit. This is a strategy I use in
helped.
tournaments because if you get a good mosh pit going, you can come out with 70 million, and that's usually going to win you a game in the tournament.
let's not discount the idea of just hitting the center spinner for points.
Get big time points.
You get at least 1 million points usually for just shooting that shot.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah. It's
Yeah, a lot of that depends on the feed you're getting off that loop when you shoot that spinner if you want to take that strategy.
Right,
And
and
get something that's controllable.
so I've seen all sorts of different approaches after it goes through that center loop. Like some people will actually do a dead bounce when it comes back around. Some people will try to drop catch. Some people will just fire away.
You could do a dead bounce on this one because I was practicing it a little bit. The dead bounce was bouncing from the left side into the right slingshot and then just throwing it totally out of control. So
Well, then that wouldn't work.
it would not work. An orbit pass wasn't working all that
I
great
mean,
either.
I'd be curious to see after you did that shot if you could take some off by doing a downward nudge when it hits the flippers. You know, like sort of like what I was doing with Twilight Zone a couple weeks ago.
But we're going to see you do it at some point here,
I don't know. Maybe.
maybe. No, I think you need to. You need to show us how to do it.
Chris knows how to do it. He knows what I'm talking
Do
about.
what?
Never mind. He has no idea.
Only John can do it.
All right. The Pennsylvania State champion steps up to another round.
CD's just got back from Las Vegas where he competed in nationals as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get Chris on the microphone a little later in this broadcast, and I really think people would love to hear his trip report from that.
Oh, there you
Thanks for lowering the post, Dan Hall.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, because those outlane posts up at the top were way up there. And he did lower them a little bit, so.
This is his easy setting.
So that was a good dead bounce. Dead bounce to control. Never underestimate the power of control in your game.
Another nice nudge. Another nice one.
That last one was just luck.
Yep.
You're really critiquing people.
Oh,
I mean, totally out of character. You all right, man?
No, I've made a conscious decision that I'm not giving softballs anymore. When people screw up, I'm going to call them out for it.
I
on
like
this
it.
shot.
I like it.
I'm going to become that mean announcer that everybody is scared of,
I like that, John.
Awesome save.
as opposed to the gentleman, John. You know, like, it's time to change the persona around. I'm going to be a heel.
Jerk John.
Jerk John.
Jerk John. That's what he's going to be.
Jag
from now
off
on.
John.
Oh, yeah, he could be a Jag-off John. That'll be cool. We have any questions in the chat room at all, Doug? Thoughts? Opinions?
There's an interesting question, which is how does the Phantom Flip work? And
Not well.
Not well.
Dan said it was working. So, but I never use it.
I wonder if that question is directed to.
So what is the
What's the
Phantom Flip,
actually-
first of all?
Okay.
Explain what it is.
So you light the Phantom Flip by hitting the little stand-up targets that are marked with a light color blue. There is one to the left and one to the right of Frankenstein. And then if you hit a bunch of those, you will light Phantom Flip. So Phantom Flip activates when you come through an in lane, and then it will automatically fire the flipper by itself towards what should be
A safe
a
shot. kind of.
desirable
Yeah,
shot.
right. Now, the one thing about the Phantom Flip targets that John neglected to mention, they're death shots.
That's correct.
The one right next to Frank in the middle, you hit that, you're probably not going to have your ball left. And then the one on the left, underneath that left habit trail, that's also a death shot. So you kind of get them incidentally, and then you can decide whether or not you want to use it because you can change the flipper lane or the in lane with the flipper and choose not to use it because, again, it is kind of not consistent.
It always seemed to me, too, on Monster Bash, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter which Monster Bash I'm playing. It just doesn't have the accuracy of, like, thing flips on Adam's Family.
Let me ask you a question, Doug. Like, you own a Monster Bash, correct?
I do.
Yeah. How does the actual mechanism work on thing flips? Like, what makes this happen?
You mean Phantom Flip?
I'm sorry. Yeah, on Phantom.
So there's actually an opto underneath the slingshot plastic and underneath the guide on the right-hand side there. So it basically uses the opto to detect when the ball crosses the regular switch and when the ball crosses the opto, and it uses the timing there and software magic to determine where it needs to flip it, the timing.
Why do you think that Phantom Flip is less accurate than, as we were talking about on the Addams Family's thing flips? Why do you think it is?
I don't necessarily know. I mean, maybe because thing is a shorter shot. There's less room for error there than there is on this, because the Phantom Flip is shooting it all the way up the playfield in most cases, whereas thing flips is just shooting it across the playfield.
Do you think that I sort of feel like thing flips has more actuations, so therefore it gets used more times, and therefore, maybe it gets to dial in better, those shots?
Perhaps. Both of the games are supposed to learn as the game gets played.
It's a learning computer?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Wait, so
Skynet.
So this is
Monster
Skynet?
Bash is Skynet.
It is Skynet. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness! It was made in '97. That's when Skynet was supposed to
Miles
happen.
Dyson's fault.
Oh my goodness!
It's terrible. Miles Dyson created the opto on Monster Bash. Terrible.
Someone in the chat room says Phantom Flip is basically just a worse thing flips. Pretty much.
Like I said, I think it's a kind of a unique, feature of the game. If I play on location or in a tournament where it's actually activated, I try my best never to use it, just because it sends the ball where you don't want it to really go.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen a tournament player rely on that. Like, they're usually doing.
I have, but the results have not been good.
Yeah, so that's just usually disabled, and
This is a lesson in bricking.
so I told Dan to leave it off because I don't particularly care for it, but he goes, "Nah, we want people to see it and have fun with it." So that's how much my opinion really matters around here.
So Evan Bookbinder was giving us a lesson in brick making, which is his side hobby, and now he's starting Drac.
He's in masonry? I thought he was a weatherman.
I do it all, man.
Jack of all trades. I like it.
All right, so now he's into vampire slaying.
These are some of the coolest call-outs, too, with Drac.
Oh, boy.
Oh. Oh, man. Did you see that? So Phantom Flip led him astray. Let's see what he chooses to do. He's trying for bride.
All right, so
Okay.
that one, it actually worked.
No,
Because-
I flipped it.
Oh, did you? Because I was
Yeah.
going to say, because if you miss the shot with whenever the Phantom Flip goes and you miss the shot, the lane will stay blue and you could still use it next time it goes through the in lane. If it finishes as a shot, though, it will go out.
Question from the chat room. They're wondering if tournament mode disables Phantom Flips. I do not believe it does.
I think you
it's
have to turn it
still
off in the
active.
settings, right?
Yeah, I think in tournament mode, I'm pretty sure it's still active. You would have to actually go in and disable it if you wanted it off.
So Evan, let me ask you a question, Evan. Were you actively considering taking the multi-ball at that point?
I was, but I thought I was close enough on the outer orbits that I probably could have brought in another one.
Okay, so he was actually going for another mode, and then he was going to try to bring it in.
So he was getting a little bit greedy.
Hey,
Which
you know
is
what?
good. Greed is good, man.
Greed is good. Michael Douglas taught us that.
Like Gordon Gecko. Same person, but
One's fictional.
no, Michael Douglas is Gordon Gecko. It just doesn't matter. That's him.
So in other words, he's typecast forever. That was it.
Yeah, I guess kind of. That's the role he's most quoted for.
That is true.
Other than that, and Falling Down. If you've ever seen Falling Down, John, go home and watch it immediately. It's awesome.
I'll go home and watch it immediately. So I'm gonna get off the mic now and go watch.
The way John's acting tonight, I think the first thing he's going to do when he gets home is kick a puppy.
I think he might.
I was just calling the shots as they were, man.
You're exceptionally brutal tonight. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Wow.
I like this new John.
You see. You would like me being brutal. Well, Jake is picking up where he left off last game.
No, Jake already has 5 times the score he had last game. Jake had less than 1 million, I think, last game.
All right, so last game, Aton showed us that he was very accurate on the bride shots. So let's see what Aton's going to show us this game.
He can't get the. Oh, he got the skill shot. I thought he didn't.
See, I'm not the brutal one here, Doug. It's Fred.
No, I'm not. I'm tame. Look at that shot.
There was no save in the book for that. I just want to let
That's terrible.
you know, like I'm willing to be harsh and mindful, but there's nothing there.
Playfield looks very similar to what Chris's did last game. He has kind of almost the same setup, except he has no progress on the creature. Just started his wolf.
I'm not worried about him and creature. Like if he gets to the point where he needs creature, he's going to just pound that out. One more shot for Mosh Pit, and Frank's close. Oh, well, that was a little early. I think he wanted to do Mosh Pit first.
Yeah, but he's got two. He's got 2 modes running right now. He's got Drac and he's got Wolfman.
Yeah, no problem. So now he can choose either multi-ball. Okay, Mosh Pit. Oh, that was only 3. My bad. Nice nudge.
You almost have to preemptively nudge anything that's going near the outlanes on this one.
All right, so 2 modes running plus Frankenstein. This will be a 3-banger.
It's not bad.
It's a good start. I'll get the extra ball during this, hopefully, and then build on that.
Sounds like John broadcasting over here. Hate.
That's only what I sound like in the morning. Come on, give me credit.
You do have your Mountain Dew right next to you, so you're usually happy with that. So he's already got 3 monsters lit. He's got his organ from completing the shots to Frankenstein.
And I like how he's actually trying to make progress to these other monster modes rather than going just for the Frank jackpots. And the name of the game is keep it alive. If you can't control, keep it alive.
So now he's down to 2, but he also just completed 2 of his instruments, so now he has a total of 3 instruments. He's halfway to getting Monsters of Rock.
He's halfway there. He's living on a prayer.
Still got that EB lit. I think he was shooting for it there.
Just followed in.
There you go.
Right there.
Sometimes it goes in nice.
So on this game, that hole has a what's called a cliffy on there, which is a protector to keep that hole from wearing out, and it actually can make it a little bit harder to hit that shot.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's definitely smaller, yeah. I mean, I especially love machines that are
Almost nice on the nudge there.
sort of worn out.
Oh.
But he did collect the extra ball.
So, I mean, if I want to remain true to form, I'd say that was a nasty, horrible player error at the end.
Yeah, that
It was pretty quick,
too
though.
fast off
It was
the
pretty
side
quick.
there.
Yeah, it sure was.
I think I was too busy admiring my left drain that I was just like, ugh.
Well, it looked like you were gonna pop that back in there for a second.
Yeah, it was bouncing, so there's definitely potential, but I gave up on it thinking, I'll just keep the other ball in play because I want to at least have control coming out of the multi-ball, but...
So going into potentially your final ball, you have 3 monsters left and 3 instruments left. What's your plan of attack?
I think I've got 3 center shots for Mosh Pit. If I can, I'll aim for that, and if I just so happen to fall in the Mummy Mayhem, that's great. Once I get to a specific point, I'm going to really want to hammer out the creature feature, but I need to make some ramps, because I found the ramps during that multi-ball, but...
Yeah, you had some good combos going there for a little while.
Yeah, both balls, both ramps, it was good.
All right, so Mummy, if he shoots the scoop now, he'll start Mummy, which will start his 4th monster. But like he said, he's going to try to get the ramps. The one on the left traditionally is a little bit easier to hit.
Whoops.
You would.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Phantom Flip.
Now, if he counted on Phantom Flip there, that's the reason why you never want to count on it, because it would sometimes make the shot 100%.
Going for style points. It could kill you.
Yeah, the first one was nice, though. It went right on the ramp, though, so...
All right, so Evan's stepping up. He's got 12 million points. He needs a lot of work to get to a Monster Bash. So I think he's just going to have to dive in and...
I think I might just take my multi-ball.
Get your third monster, get your extra ball.
I agree with Fred, but I can't believe I said that.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you, considering all the negativity coming from that side of the table tonight.
That's just Doug.
No, that's you. That's for you, for sure. So 2 more shots to the to either orbit for Wolfman. Nice backhand on the creature shot. I don't know if he meant that or not.
Nice nudge. That up nudge saved him that ball.
I think you get.
And his reward was another second of play, and I said something nice about him. So
That's a big reward tonight.
Wow. Sean's a big jerk.
So Jake has everything set up for his ball 3 here.
But the game hasn't been too kind to him.
no, not at all.
So let's see what he can do. So he's gonna bash Frankie a couple times because he's mad at Frankenstein.
So this is a really good
Oh, the
Playing-
sling just grabbed it.
That's what you get for it.
playing to the playfield status there. If you're in a tournament in that situation where you don't really have anything going, what's your quick points, quick catch up? What do you shoot for on this game?
It just depends on how bad you're down.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at that always situationally. So in his case, he was down 8 million from the current second place. So he could have done that in a number of ways. But if he was looking at first place, he needs a good stacked multi-ball.
I think if I was gonna do, if I was down by 8 million points, I'd try to get control of the ball and then just try to shoot the orbit on the left for Wolfman because there's got some good value in Wolfman. And it's usually a safe feed from the pops along the right side there. So I might go that shot because it's probably the easiest shot in the game to hit consistently. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know how I would have nudged that differently, Eitan. I got to tell you, it was going to be a hard read.
It was, but you know what? You live with your mistakes, and then you go and punch CDs in the shoulder.
So this game has a very interesting geometry. And so I'd like to share with you one of the secrets I've used over the years as far as geometry on this game. If I have a ball cradled on the left flipper on Monster Bash, and I need to get, say, a Frankenstein multi-ball, and I want to get some progress towards Drac, I will actually shoot at the Drac target specifically because quite often it'll bounce directly into the Frankenstein after you hit the Drac attack.
Correct. Much safer shot.
Yeah, and then it comes off of Frankenstein much slower, and usually if it's slower, that's good.
Then the ball can go into slings on this game and you're dead.
Yeah,
Well-
the slings are very active on this one.
I'm not saying it's safe, but safer. And if you have to hit dangerous stuff, might as well get 2 birds with 1 stone.
We were just talking about that last week with like the gem shot on Tron, and there was something else. What was the other game that we were talking about?
That's another good example.
There was something else that we were talking about. Oh, the Flintstones when we were in Louisville. The ball was kicking off the flipper. You couldn't get a clean shot, so you were banking it off a target and getting the super jackpot that way.
Right. I got one of the high scores for the weekend just by I didn't hit a single super jackpot naturally. I bank shotted every single one of them.
Did you get a cookie for the high score?
It wasn't the high score, so no
Okay, well,
cookies for John.
No cookies for John.
It was John's high score.
Yeah, and considering the rest of my scores in that tournament, I was happy
Oh.
with that.
Oh, wow.
Dead bounce to the out lane. When does that happen?
Okay,
Yeah, that
so
was a rare one.
so what have we learned? We've learned that you must control coming out
You have to take some
somehow.
step.
I mean, that was a weird bounce.
The,
though.
the shot from the scoop has been a dead bounce over, no problem. A dead bounce off the flipper into the sling and going out. And that one was a dead bounce off the flipper, off the sling, and out.
Oh, Jake, you want that ball back, don't you?
I'd like that ball back, please.
Holy smokes.
In
Okay,
hockey, we
so-
refer to that as a soft goal.
That's very
Yeah,
soft.
that-
That's very soft.
Wow, that was Jake let a soft goal in. There we go.
Own goal.
He did an own goal. Nice. So, yeah, this game is playing much rougher than I anticipated. I thought it was going to play fair with the settings that we put it on.
Want to give a shout out to our international crowd. We got people in the chat room from Spain tonight, so thanks for joining us.
Nice.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? We are happy to have you here.
Does that actually mean something, or did you just call him a name?
It said, hello, how are you?
Good job, John.
Gentleman John, world traveler.
International diplomat John.
Oh, gosh, don't put me in charge.
Don't do it. So Evan just picked up a leg. If anybody saw the DMD there, he had a leg in his hand. He had a leg up on him. The sound calls in this game are so fun, which is why I think this is probably one of my top 5 games, just from the sound call standpoint.
It's top 5.
Oh, easy. For me, it is.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games that's just fun to play.
They hit it out of the park in so many ways on a couple of the games from this era. You know, Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, this game. Nice save.
Oh, no. He made the ramp and got the tilt.
Come on. I mean, we're not going to give him a hard time on that.
There's clearly something wrong with this game.
Yes. Yes, there is something wrong with the game.
It's easy. I could get up there and crush it.
Okay, John, we got to do that next game.
Another international visitor in our chat room, the real Ed DK. He's from Denmark, and he's actually coming to Pinburg for the first time this year.
Nice.
So come up and say hi to us.
Yeah. And tell me how to say hi, because I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry.
You just said hi. That was perfect, John. Hi. No, that's awesome. I'm glad he's gonna make the trip. You will definitely not be disappointed when you come over. It'll be an experience that you will never forget.
It's a sight to see if we can self-promote for a second, which we tend to not have any problem doing.
Chris and I visited Denmark. A couple years ago for the IFPA championships. We took a trip over to Copenhagen.
It was blast.
Oh gosh,
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, beautiful country. Beautiful country. Enjoyed it. I want to go back.
What's stopping you? See you.
Money.
Go.
Money.
So you see on the screen, Replay FX, July 26th through the 29th. All the information for the festival can be found on www.replayfx.org. The schedule isn't quite finalized, but a lot of the outline of the show is on the website.
Important to note, too, there's a little confusion. The show is not sold out.
Correct.
You can come to Replay FX. Pinburg right now is sold out. There's a wait list if you want to get in for that, but Replay FX is not sold out. So if you want to come to the show and enjoy everything else of the show, tickets are still on sale.
If we actually sold out the festival, there'd be a lot of people in that building.
I don't know what that would. I have no idea how many people you could actually fit in there. It's probably got to be a lot.
It's got to be tens of thousands at that point.
Yeah.
Because the amount of space we're going to have is just stupid. It's just dumb. We have I think it's 350,000 square feet this year. It's
so for our marketing department, we're going to have Fred do all our marketing.
And just say it's dumb.
How much space do we have, Mr.
Gosh,
Cochran?
we have a lot of space.
We got
it's
a lot
stupid.
of space.
It's so stupid.
Many games.
Lots of space to take up, but
You see Chris using that strategy
that was nice.
Advocated.
He knows that out lane all too well at this point. He said anything that's over there, if he can get a bounce off of it, he's getting that ball out of there.
All right, so he actually is okay. He's in good shape here. This is a good start, and he pounds. There's the combo shot I was talking about. Drac to Frank.
All right, tried it. Almost got the orbit from the Drac shot. That would have been interesting.
That would have been weird.
So what he's got? He's got Wolfman ready. He's got one more shot to start Bride. He's got Dracula lit. He's got 2 more shots to Creature, and I'm not sure how much advancement he has to Mummy, but it can't be that much.
13 jet hits.
Okay,
So 13. Like I said, it's on ball 2, so he does have some time to to complete the shots before he starts the multi-ball.
two modes running, and I think he's going for the multi-ball now. He's trying to bring Creech in. Getting greedy.
That was nice.
Michael Douglas would be proud.
One more.
And there's that soft bounce. There it is.
Okay, so now there's 3 modes running. Time is ticking, though.
But he can shoot it in the scoop, bring Drac, get his extra ball.
No.
Or hit the slings. Oh, no.
There's a good decision.
Get control. Start, yep, there you go. So
Take the multi-ball.
He didn't
All
get
right.
totally greedy.
No.
He got greedy.
I felt it.
Well, you saw it getting squirrely. You were like, I think I had enough of that.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling like I could keep it going, so I thought I would take it, get the extra ball.
And live to play another day.
Definitely.
And you got great progress, even with the extra ball in your ball 3. So you still got plenty of time to complete your progress on him. So now he has 4 of the 6 monsters lit. Completed his Frankenstein. Got the organ for that.
So what's the difference between collecting the monster and collecting the instrument?
Collecting the monster is whenever you actually... Oh, my goodness. Wow. Collecting the monster is making the allotted amount of shots, which is 6 to any of the monsters. That'll light your monster. And then making 6 more shots whenever that monster mode is running, that'll finish your instrument.
Okay, so Chris will step up to ball 3 with 2 shots away from Monster Bash.
What's he got left?
He needs
Drac?
Drac and Mummy, and both are lit.
Nice.
So
you
he
got
can
to do
start him and then shoot it
the
again.
scoop, shoot the scoop, and then shoot the scoop again.
Right.
Nice. Oh.
No,
Okay.
power in lane.
Jake finally got an in lane.
And Jake took the headphones off because he doesn't want to hear you critiquing his play.
I think that's fair. I wouldn't want to hear me critiquing my play either. Hearing it in my own head is bad enough. Oh, there's a Drac hit.
Oh, that was nice.
Nice.
Good save.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, boy. Yeah, Jake called it. He said that was a player error, so I'm not going to say anything.
No, he was just beating you to it.
He knew it was coming.
I mean, I feel like I should take a step back. I feel like you guys are scared of what I'm going to say about your play.
All right, so the weatherman's up now. He's got a little bit of progress. He's got a little bit, but no, there. Ooh. He likes those center saves.
Last time it was ramp tilt, so that was nice. He didn't get the tilt there.
Okay, Drac's lit.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
And then he reflex shot into the Frankenstein start again.
It's never really bad to start a multi-ball, though.
Yes,
is it?
it
I
is.
mean, there
Yes,
could be
it
a
is.
better situation, but
No, I mean, like, you're limited to the number of multi-balls you're going to get on this game. You got to use them properly, or you're not going to get to the goal, which is Monster Bash. Now, in match play, I'll come around to what you're saying, Doug. But
Oh, that was.
All he's going to do is crank Frank. He'll probably get his 3 million.
so. But you can also work progress towards the monsters in multi-ball, correct?
only Mummy.
Only Mummy.
Only Mummy.
Didn't doubt on those ramps. Except for that shot.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, well played multi-ball. Nice save.
Yeah, 3.75. Does his best Pete Townsend imitation, smashes the guitar. So 2 mosh pit shots. So yeah, you got 4 more to go. I think I'd slow things down to get my mosh pit and then shoot the scoop and then bring the 2 modes in with my mosh pit.
Or fire away.
Or yeah, or let the Phantom flip.
Oh, okay. So there's a live shot to Creature. Let's see how he handles this.
I think he's going to let it dead bounce or he's going to pop it out of there. Oh. That sling's been grabbing that ball every time it's been bouncing over like that. So I'm not.
You can't really see it, but he's got his left arm there. He's ready to just shove the machine sideways and out of camera view if things go poorly.
Is that what that was for?
That's right.
Actually, what I'm doing is something Chris showed me, which is if you slap the side of the cabinet, the ball ends up slightly toward the end of the flipper, so the dead bounce is lighter.
Really?
So you're pushing it off
And
the
you're-
rail, basically.
Exactly. So it's hitting more toward the end of the flipper, and not as likely to bounce up and catch the right sling.
Wow, that's an advanced move.
Ramp, orbit, scoop.
Dude, Drac is disco
I
dancing.
love that animation.
He's disco dead now. He's got smashed with a big mirrored ball off the ceiling.
Frankenstein.
It's actually pretty funny the
Dracula.
dance that he does before he gets crushed by the ball. He's sitting there doing the move, which is pretty funny.
Finish him.
All right,
All
so
sorts of stuff going on.
yeah, he's got stuff happening. As
Bleh.
Greg Galanter like says, I got stuff happening.
Count Blair.
Uh-oh,
what's-
Monster
what-
Bash.
What's that
Except
insert?
I can't dance like Greg.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, gonna have to wait for a
Dracula's going to
ball
release
search.
it.
And it's going to bounce.
That was close.
Oh, man.
I'm glad I got that EB.
Extra ball, though.
Okay, no pressure. Lots of pressure.
No pressure
And this is one of the games that you wish you had a plunger on because then you could short plunge.
Oh,
Exactly.
heck yeah, I would
Not
want
on
a
this-
short plunge.
Not on this one. There is no short plunging. It's just the button. Live
mean,
shot. Bam.
Doug, let me ask you a tournament question. Are you going to leave the ball save on a Monster Bash in Pinburg?
Most likely, yeah. Pinburg, the games
I
don't tend to
deserve
play.
Oh, my God. But that's only ball 2.
That the good news is it's only ball 2. The bad news is the same thing's going to happen on ball 3. I'm sorry, I predicted a weather forecast here.
So, in general, to answer your question, the games in Pinburg tend to be set up slightly easier than you would see them in like a Herb-style tournament because it's match play.
Or like Papa.
Or like Papa. Because there's basically each round of Pinburg can take so long, and we just have to make sure that all the banks are finished within that amount of time. So depending, Monster Bash can be a long player, but depending on what else is in a bank with it, it determines how difficult we would have to set it up.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the follow-up question, Doug. How do we determine what games go in what banks, and how can you predict how long they're going to play?
So I write all the game names down on little slips of paper, and I throw them in a bucket, and then I just draw them out.
Which is not true.
That's totally not true.
No. I mean,
It's not a bucket.
are you going to – why don't you explain just a little bit of that process? Because I guess some people would like to know what that process is.
So for the last few years, the game banks have all been the same, and the reason is
They were dialed in.
Pinburg relies on timing more than anything else, making sure the rounds are completed in the correct time. Actually, we'll get back to this after Chris's ball because he's kind of close to accomplishing something.
And we also had to announce, too, that he defeated John Replico in the state championships. So
I think we already did that.
well,
I know.
I don't think we did it enough, though.
I feel the world has turned against me a little bit here. I was a little too cruel with my critique.
Just want to say, John, you
And-
get from the universe what you put into the universe.
That was nice. Uh-oh.
Oh,
That was
that was not nice.
so.
Catching the Cliffy.
All
Chris,
right.
the
A
extra
straight,
ball
a
lit
straight
on ball
shot,
3.
and it's just
Jake
not,
is
not
now
falling.
going to step up and you're going to do it this ball.
Yeah, that's it. This is my ball.
So
this
Chris,
is your ball, and just do not accept no as an answer.
Yeah, Chris did not defeat John playing like that.
No. Although,
There's that slingshot again. Bye-bye.
my gosh. I'm afraid to play this game. I got to tell you the
So
honest truth.
Jake once again decided to take the headphones off because, again, I wouldn't want to listen to us talking either. There goes the rare shot to the spinner from the left flipper.
That's a tight shot from
That's a
the
very
left.
tight shot.
Okay, so Bride's running. Let's see if he can make some progress on.
Oh. That happens more than you would think. It bricks off that ramp. It just stops.
This one in particular.
It's annoying.
These ramps are, I guess you could say they're designed well or poorly depending on which side you are, and that they don't tend to drain down the middle when you don't make it all the
I
way
like
up.
that. I think that's a good thing.
You like it, operators don't like it. Tournament directors want you to lose your ball.
Yeah, I mean, and we could talk about the evil that has become you as a tournament director. You used to be like, oh, oh gosh,
So Jake karate chopped the game, and then he just walked away.
Jake. I want to say that all three of Jake's variants were
Mean.
Play rare?
Well deserved.
All right, so
I'm not going to say well deserved. I mean, that would be very cruel, but they were self-induced.
all right, so Evan is going to try not to blow it on ball 3 here.
No pressure.
Thanks.
No
'Cause there's
pressure.
no
Let's do it.
Look, Evan. I've already set it up. I've already set it up that things are going to go wrong. So anything you do other than that is just going to be an improvement.
Let's all gravy from
the
here.
fans watching us will enjoy.
Let me just tell you, Evan, the more you listen to us, the more likelihood you're going to be too distracted and
Yeah,
you are
don't-
going to drain.
You
Just
should
don't
probably
listen
be
to
like
us.
Jake and just take the headphones off. It's better for your sanity.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know. Give me
Oh
the
my
ball back.
gosh. There's a shot.
Yeah!
Yes.
With the forehand.
He's just wiping off the sweat of his brow
All right, so he's starting ball and shade mode
with
Monster Bash.
Monster Bash. So let's just don't flip the flippers. I want to watch the whole DMD thing. He made his one shot. Yes, he did. So they're going to go through all the monsters playing their respective instruments.
That's Drac.
My favorite is the werewolf with his drum fill.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great-
that's.
The drum fill is great, right here.
I gotta say, my favorite's the keyboard player.
There it is. What a drum fill.
John,
that was.
I see why you went there, though.
Although, who was what's he playing the bass? He was headbanging, so that was pretty cool. All right, so $2 million for Monster, and then you could also get a jackpot shooting up the center. I believe it goes to $7.5 million at max value, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Sounds about right.
Okay, so you got 5.5 on that one, and I think it's dependent on you actually shooting monsters to build that value.
That's correct.
And then once you shoot the jackpot, it'll reset those shots in order to make them all again. If I'm not mistaken. I can't be for sure.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I never pay attention to the display during this. I'm always just trying to keep the balls alive. Make
Go
sure-
by the sounds. Actually, when you hear the sound of the
That's
jackpot,
right.
you know what it is.
Right.
So let's see what his I'll show his total for his jackpot or his monster bash, which actually was a little bit lower than he probably would want it to be. Usually a good monster bash is probably at about 125 million, but you know,
I mean,
if you're in competition play, 94 million is going to get some stuff done anyways.
Let's not be too critical of the fact this game's playing pretty hard, and this is definitely our highest score we've seen.
No, we're going to be critical. No.
Oh, that was
Especially with dead
terrible.
bounces like that. Come on.
Why did I dead bounce?
That was a horrible dead bounce, and
Nice job, Evan.
you know, slippery
Thanks.
when wet.
We let the guy from New England do all that. Come on, man. What's going on here?
Tessier says that was terrible.
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 Oh gosh.
I can hear him doing his Charles Barkley right now. It's just terrible.
All right, so Aton's gonna get something going.
Yeah.
Aton's always the optimist.
I am the most optimistic person I know.
And he's sure of it.
I'm modest too.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Well, those slings just. Gosh, it's time to go eat some lunch.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to do another one of these since we got Bash, or are we going to...
I think Jake wants another shot at this game. Jake seems to be chomping at the bit
I-
to get back in.
I
there.
want to play a game with Jake.
I would like to play a game as well.
John and Fred are going to swap out here. CD's once in there. We'll get Evan over here. He can talk about his victory.
He can talk about Halos.
His great victory. So I'm going to just go back while people get situated in here. With the Pinberg banks, actually it's all based on timing, how much time you have in the banks to get everything done. You can start. Yeah, go ahead. So we play a bunch of tournaments here I think we have almost 40 of them scheduled coming up this spring and summer to get the banks ready, and we time out how long each game takes, and we basically put those together to form the banks, and that lets us know that once we show up at Pinberg that hopefully we won't have any banks that are playing too long, and then the banks that are short players will sometimes make the games a little bit easier, and if we have games that are holding everything up, we will try and make the games a little bit more difficult. I'd like to welcome in Evan Bookbinder and Aton Goldman into the booth.
Thanks, Doug.
So tell us about your glorious victory, Evan.
I felt pretty good, I gotta be honest. You know, it's a bit intimidating, I think, playing around you guys all the time, but it felt good to do it on camera, so...
How good did it feel to beat Jake at Monster Bash? That's really what everybody's
It actually
asking.
didn't feel good at all, because I think Jake is just getting brutalized by this game. The slings are just mean. I don't know how you could dial them anymore to where they're on the borderline of basically machine gunning themselves to just the slightest.
Oh, John
Tip
gets
of
the
the
ball
ball.
search.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's actually pro tip to anybody running a tournament. If you want to set games up difficult, like you don't have to pull rubbers, you don't have to pull posts, you just need super sensitive slingshots. That's usually enough to make most tournaments extremely difficult without making any major changes to the game.
Doug, do you have any other recommendations? Any Doug Polka specials that you can recommend to tournament directors?
That's the number one thing. Like people always, oh wow, did you see the spin on that ball? It almost rolled right off the flipper.
Yeah, that's the one thing we've been having to account for is just amazing backspin on this ball.
Gosh! Oh. This game's making me work.
John somehow managed to keep it alive through all this.
But I think you're right. When Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, the way you set these games up for competition play, certainly fine-tuned slings to where the ball just barely grazing the rubber is going to fire the sling is first and foremost probably the most evil thing you can do. The other thing that I'm not sure a lot of casual players know is that the outlane posts, the ones that are above the slings up and to the right, up and to the left are adjustable.
On a lot of games.
On a lot of games. There's usually 3 places that you can move those to and screw them down back to the playfield.
I think the ones on this game are actually in a slot, so you basically have infinite placement for it.
Nope. So basically what you're doing there is either increasing or decreasing the gap that the ball could pass through to either outlane. But I got to feel good. I took 2 or 3 from the PA State Championship, and unfortunately this is not WWE, so I don't get the
you don't get a belt. You don't get to go to Vegas. You get nothing.
I got nothing.
Can we add a ladder match to Pinburg?
Do you want to run another tournament at Pinburg?
No. Part of the finals is a ladder match.
Like an actual physical ladder match or a pinball ladder?
I'm saying I want to throw down with Lyman.
You heard it here, folks. Aton, who put up a collective $5 million on 3 games of Monster Bash.
Why do you think I want the ladder match? I think I've got a better shot at the ladder match than actually playing pinball.
Well, I think the next game we're about to play after Monster Bash has ladders in it.
So this is Fred Cochran. He used to be the best classics player in Pittsburgh. He's recently unseated by El Presidente, Greg DeFeo, who won the classics division in Louisville.
So Fred's goals tonight are probably not very lofty. He's just hoping to beat Jake.
Wow.
I just want to point out, I was playing also.
Jake is in third.
Fred already knows he can't beat me, so therefore, now he's just he's looking for low-hanging fruit. All right, where am I at?
So John's collected 1 monster so far. He's 1 shot away from creature, 2 shots away from werewolf.
Did you guys happen to talk about similar games of this era that everybody loves?
Oh man!
That's what you get for talking smack crap with
Wow, that was rough. So, this game may be considered similar to other favorites like Attack from Mars or Medieval Madness with that so-called fan layout, but I think they each hold their own. The shots are just subtly different to make this game inviting.
I mean, fan layout games tend to be fun to shoot because the shots are they feel good to shoot them.
Danger.
I mean, there's lots of games that are rated. You look at all the websites out there that rate games, and a lot of times you see a lot of these fan layout games near the top because there's only so many places you can put shots on a pinball machine.
Exactly. Although Pat Lawler has definitely figured out some unique places to put them. All right, Jake starting Mummy Mayhem here, which is basically a switch hit based mode. So the more things Jake hits, the closer he gets to completing the mode for, I think the total is, what, 7.5 million.
So it looks like he's trying to hit that left out lane.
I think he succeeded.
Mission accomplished.
A lot of live flipping there.
Give me some pops.
Did you guys get a chance to talk about the smart button usage in this game
No,
at
we
all?
didn't talk about that at all.
Okay. I'm sure I'll be corrected in chat room because I'm not 100% sure on how this all works. But you'll notice when you make a skill shot, which is up at the top in lane rollovers there, spelling DIG for dig. And Fred somehow missed the skill shot. But had he made one, you will get an award of something like an ancient scroll or garlic or something that
to
is
battle the
relative
monsters.
to one of the monsters you're trying to complete in the game. If you hit the scoop, you'll also, I don't know if it's random or not, or once every so many scoop shots, you'll get an award of one of those features as well. And there happens to be a stand-up target called, I think it's Tomb Treasure, located to the left of the scoop. And if you hit that, that might be what makes those freebies available at the scoop. Anyways, as you build those cloves of garlic, the ancient scroll, so on and so forth, if you hit the plunge button while it's flashing, it will award you basically one shot closer to completing that monster, or a jackpot, if you will, if you've already started that mode or something to that effect.
So it's like a Martian bomb on Attack from Mars.
Right, a Martian bomb on Attack from Mars, a troll bomb on Medieval Madness, someone familiar with that. So, since we already mentioned there's no physical plunger on this game, a lot of this games of this era use that button to kind of allow, I don't want to call it cheats, but ways to build up skilled saves.
Performance enhancing.
Yes, performance enhancing shots.
So John is going into ball 3 here, only with one monster left. I really expect more of someone of his caliber.
Someone who beat Jake.
Somebody, well,
So like you'll notice when John got that skill shot, he got a garlic clove, which would presumably help him toward Dracula.
Presumably. Oh, I gotta be able to make a shot first.
Oh my
That's gone.
goodness.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I didn't even touch it.
John doing his impersonation of every Pinburg.
We need to move the camera about 1.5 feet,
Do we
but
need
John
to
didn't
readjust
touch
the
it.
camera from
Eric
John
in the
back?
chat is asking if those items carry over from ball to ball.
Almost.
I almost got away with that.
I want to say no.
No, so they're only good for the ball.
I think they're
where
only
you
good
earn
for the
them.
ball you earn them, but would I bet my life on it? Probably not.
If anybody knows any different, let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after it's been posted.
Although that could be a fun segment on the show. Evan bets his life on his pinball knowledge.
Come on.
I wouldn't bet my life on my weather knowledge. I don't know why everybody's having such a tough time
So-
with this game. I
Now,
thought it
now that I
played
got
great.
the headphones on, hopefully I'll do better.
So
I have
CDs
no progress.
is
I've
due
got
to
nothing.
light this game up because he's played like 12 games on it tonight already.
Oh, I love the call-outs in this game. All right, so Chris is just going to go take his multi-ball.
I just can't. I gotta beat John. That's new goal. Must beat John.
Just looking to finish ahead of John.
Just gotta get ahead of John.
So going to take that multi-ball,
So because
see
he
how many
brought,
jackpots we can rack up.
so because he essentially brought nothing into multi-ball, we're at base value for everything, but with a pretty decent ball save timer on, there's still a fair amount of points that can even be racked up
even with the base jackpot value. That left ramp is pretty deceptive looking at the camera from a top-down view, but it's got a pretty steep pitch to it as it comes around the bend, so if you don't really hit it square, it's going to come around, make it about halfway, and then head back down the playfield.
It's our same design, basically, George Gomez has used in a few of his games.
Right.
Lord of the Rings off the top of my head is one I can think of.
What I did find, though, is if you don't make that left ramp successfully, it does tend to come back to the left flipper pretty cleanly.
Yeah, Monster Bash isn't one of those games where half-made shots are really punished.
Like,
Your missed shots naturally are, but halfway up either one of the ramps doesn't tend to drain on a game, whereas in some games that's instant death if you don't make it all the way up a ramp and it comes back down.
Right. It seems the straight ramp games tend to do that a lot more, like Medieval Madness or an AC/DC. Are far less forgiving on a half ramp shot. So Chris definitely getting some stuff done here.
Is it safe to say he has beat John?
Yes, I believe he's ahead of John.
So like I said, even without bringing any modes in, you can still get some pretty decent points if you can play some controlled ball and just keep taking the easier jackpots.
Woo, points.
All right, so now what's your goal, Chris?
Light extra ball. I mean, don't drain. That's probably my number one goal right now.
That's a smart goal. So we've got this set for extra ball to light after 3 monsters. Is that correct?
Yes,
I wasn't.
That's the default setting.
Okay,
That's what this
I
is currently
wasn't
set
paying
to.
attention to my own games.
And you can collect that every time you go through the monsters as well, as long as there's not an extra ball limit set on the game. So if you get through all the monsters, then when you get to the third one again, you'll light another extra ball.
But it's not every 3, so your 6th one on the first go-around is not an EV.
Cool.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow, that was ugly.
Nice backhand. Good nudge over to the right flipper there. So Fred's 2 spinner shots away from lighting Mosh Pit multi-ball. Make that 1.
When did this game come out?
97.
97, 98.
Okay. I was just taken back to the 90s with the mention of the mosh pits.
Mosh pits still exist right now.
The IPDB lists it as 1998.
Ooh, wow.
George Gomez design with the great Kevin O'Connor artwork on this game. It's fantastic.
Just a phenomenal game all the way around. So was this the second to last game, I think, before the Pinball 2000?
It was this and something else,
Cactus Canyon, right?
Yeah.
End of a phenomenal era for Bally Williams. All right, so Fred's in the Mosh Pit multi-ball that he got by 6 spinner rips. A lot of points available here. You'll see the jackpots lit at the outer orbits as well as the left and right ramp. And then Frank with the inverted V-shaped arrow is where you can collect the super after so many regular jackpots.
That could be the flying V for Mosh Pit, baby.
So what determines your Mosh Pit value? See, that's kind of an odd value. 1.19 million.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I honestly have no idea. All I know is I think it's 10 regular jackpots to make the super available.
If anybody knows in the chat what that is, let us know.
You mean what builds up? Like what sets that value?
Yeah. How do you build the mosh pit value?
I think doesn't it something builds it like during your ball, not during the.
No!
I'm forgetting.
I don't
what
know.
the-
That's why I asked.
There it is.
I wonder if it's a number of spinner.
There's the super
Hits,
jackpot. 10
potentially.
million there. 30 million on that mosh pit.
So Fred's kind of in
I have
jail
no- I
here
have
with
no progress,
no
right.
monsters. Kind of, I guess, creatures the closest.
That's the only thing that's bad about doing that strategy is that you don't get any progress towards anything else.
So for those that have tuned in for the circuit final games, we'll be going to that next.
Fred really comboing the ramps up here nice, and then into a left orbit shot. Oh, that was beautiful. Nice shake. All right, so Bride's ready. And you'll see that her face is lit up kind of in the bottom center of the playfield. And then Mummy also started. That was lit by collecting enough pop bumpers.
So this is a switch frenzy mode. Basically,
Yes.
everything scores points.
And I don't think they're worth a whole heck of a lot individually, but if you complete enough of the switches, you'll kind of see a countdown value to collect the full 7.5 million.
So Fred's starting a multi-ball and lighting his extra ball. So that's actually...
This
you
is
hope you get one that just falls in there during your multi-ball.
That's kind of what I was going for on mine. You figure you flail 3 balls around the playfield enough, one should hopefully land in the scoop.
There it is.
There it is. We've got a couple monsters active in this multi-ball, so there's huge point potential. If you look really closely, Fred did hit the start button there real quickly to take advantage of basically a free jackpot from a monster-killing device he had stored up.
So Eric in the chat room pointed something out that there's rumored that this will be the next remake from Chicago Coin. That they're going to be announcing Monster Bash to go along with their Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars remakes.
Yeah, there's quite the rumor mill going on. Obviously, this seems to... poor multi-ball drain there. But yeah, there's quite the rumor mill going on several of the pinball-related forums that suggest this might be the next game. Obviously, following Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars that I personally own. In a string of just awesome late 90s Bally William games remade basically to the original specifications.
Yeah, I mean, this would be definitely...
I hope it is.
If I had to pick games to remake, this would be up there in terms of the 90s games. So I hope that they can get the licensing or whatever and work that out, give more people a chance to own this, get more of them out in the wild for people to play.
I hope so too. People in chat may know a lot more than I do. There was a post from Chicago Gaming either yesterday or the day before yesterday that their plans to announce what game it was at the upcoming Texas Pinball Festival were delayed due to some advancement in tech that they were working on, which then makes me second guess whether or not it is Monster Bash.
They couldn't get the slingshot working?
They should talk to you.
They've done a great job. I'm just kidding.
But, I mean, like I said, I've got an Attack from Mars remake that I just picked up a couple weeks ago, and it plays identically to the one I'm looking at, or two I'm looking at 5 feet from here that we played on PAPAtv here just a month ago. They really did a superb job with it. I don't personally feel there's any difference whatsoever in gameplay.
But you're clearly biased.
All that stock you own. All that hot pinball money.
So, not to put any pressure on Fred, but he's actually only 2 monsters away at this point. We're coming into this
See, I was
ball
trying not to
at
jinx
nothing.
him, but
That's kind of what you're supposed to do when you're announcing.
Jinx people?
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Make sure they feel the pressure. Double danger, nice save.
okay, so we need Drac, which are the 2 right stand-ups, and then it becomes a hot mess of trying to handle Drac moving back and forth across the play field like Big Buck Hunter without draining.
I would have gone with Mick Jagger.
And, yeah, I guess Mick Jagger. And Creature is just about done here on the left scoop. Oh, it is done.
That's it. That's the last shot for that. So now it's
So
just the dangerous Drac attack
you get it.
targets. John was talking earlier. You guys weren't in the booth. A lot of times he likes to shoot those basically off the right flipper hard because they'll deflect up and towards Frankenstein, and you can usually control that.
Right, most games having stand-ups on the side of the playfield is pretty dangerous, but this game, the angle off those shots is actually pretty favorable. My problem is once Dracula comes out of hiding, depending on where you hit him, it can be a bad feed. Or if you did like I did and the ball gets stuck behind him, then it becomes pretty tough. So Fred's
What about
done it.
4 balls with 3 extra balls? That's pretty helpful too sometimes.
Let everybody enjoy the animations here.
This is so cool. That's a really important thing that just showed up on the display.
The
All
timer stopped.
timers have stopped, which is probably the most lucrative thing that could happen with scoring in this game. So when you start a monster, you have so many seconds to complete, I think it's 5 shots for that particular monster to light its instrument, which is kind of by the flippers. There's a string of instruments. He's lit 2 of them now.
That's pretty much the only thing he hasn't done in this game. So let's get all the instruments now, Fred.
So when you're in multi-ball and you've lit a monster, that timer that normally counts down and forces you to kind of rush those shots to complete a whole bunch of them in sequence stops indefinitely as long as you're in multi-ball. So you can kind of take your time and knock those out. And if Fred somehow manages to collect the 6 instruments that equate to the 6 monsters, you will get to the essentially grand finale wizard mode, so to speak.
Nice cradle separation there.
Some really great music here, too. 7.5 million jackpot. I mean, look at the score now. Over 200 million.
Yeah, going into this ball, he had no monsters and no instruments, I believe. Now he's gone through all the monsters. He's got half the instruments lit.
I mean, I said he was in jail after Mosh Pit multi-ball, and he just broke out and ran away.
So he's looking to get the microphone from the bride, the keyboard from Frankenstein, and the drums from the Wolfman.
Yep. And unfortunately, to be available to collect those instruments, he has to relight those monsters. So there's a lot of shots to a given character.
Yeah, but the good thing is I can go back around and get extra balls again too now.
Yes, you can. And he's made pretty darn quick progress on a few of these. Wolfie, Bride.
Get up there, jerk.
So you see that feed coming back out of the ramp's actually pretty good. There we go.
Give me some more stuff.
Okay, so Fred has a left ramp to go for Bride.
Give me Bride. Nope.
So sometimes, in addition to kind of cheap points, the scoop will award you some nice things. I think during my game, it completed Creature for me, which was a really nice benefit.
Is there any pattern to that, or is it just pretty much random when you're in non-tournament mode?
I think it's random, but I also think there's a stand-up target above and to the left of the scoop. If you look at those 1, 2, 3 lights by the
tomb
spinner,
target.
There's a target that, if you look closely, it's labeled
nicely made.
Tomb, something other, Tomb of Treasure. And I think that's what spots you the kind of smart button, smart missile type shots and some of the other nice awards you can get on the scoop. So we got...
give me a...
So there's a silver bullet. Fred immediately takes use of that.
Yeah, what a great game.
Outstanding ball, sir. Outstanding game.
You make that game look like it's playing easy.
So, as Fred puts in his initials, which is not the grand champ, just high score number 1.
He is the grand champ, I think, though.
Does he also have the grand champ on this? So
Excellent game.
Before we go to our second game of the evening, Fire, we're going to unveil the games for the Papa Circuit Championship, which is occurring in Chicago, March 24th, which is sold out. You can't even come. If you wanted to come, you can't even get in. They sold tickets to this, and they sold out.
Everything's
But-
selling out these days.
Luckily for you, we will be streaming this event live on March 24th. So you guys don't know what the games are. I know what the games are, so I'm interested to hear your reactions to these. If James will show us the games. So the first game is the Aerosmith Pro. This is actually, for me, this is one of the better games that Stern's come out with in a while. I really enjoy this game. I wasn't looking forward to it based on the playfield layout before when I saw the pre-release photos, but once I got my hands on it and was able to play it, like, they really did a great job with the software and with the layout on this game.
I completely agree. You've got Dirty Donnie's amazing artwork. I finally had a chance to play the premium for the first time just last week, and I like it. The upper playfield elevator shot is really cool and allows you to do some neat stuff with some of the multi-balls in that game, but I've always been a fan of their music. The artwork is phenomenal. I know some people say that the playfield layout's kind of similar to KISS, and I can kind of sort of see that, but I like them both, and I just really like this game. It's a great tournament game that can be pretty mean with that Jackie shot, trying to complete those locks.
Yeah, definitely. This actually has been a game that's popped up a lot in a couple IFPA events that I've attended, and it's definitely been one of those ones I've been trying to avoid as much as possible, but I have always find my way to get into the match on it. It's just really, really difficult.
So the second game in the bank is going to be the Batman 66 Premium, I should say, which I actually have not played this game anywhere, so I really can't give an educated opinion on it.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I've played this game twice overall total, and that was with the old code. I believe I played it down in It Never Drains in Southern California, that is in disc, and they had it there, played it a couple times, and with the old code, it really wasn't tickling my fancy, but it now has a pretty solid code and it appears to be fantastic tournament game.
You're not on mic. John was asking if it was a premium or pro. This would be the Batman Premium. There is no pro for Batman 66.
So premium is the new pro?
Just for this game.
Just for this one.
Just
Okay.
for this game.
I think it's like Premium LE and Super LE
Super
or
LE.
something. I've got, I think I played, John, you and I played this down in Bedford, didn't we, right when it first came out at Shannon's place in a tournament?
Yeah, we did.
So the next game, a classic Stern Catacomb.
Ooh, Catacomb.
It's actually a really fun game.
It'll bury them.
It's a really fun game. Come on, Catacomb is brutal.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean,
Wait a minute, now I'm making notes of games to pick
Look,
against
look.
John in Pittsburgh Pinball League
this
Finals.
might be one of them.
Someone
definitely.
write that down.
Anything's better than Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man or whatever it was.
Baby Pac-Man, come on.
Baby Pac-Man.
Gosh, that's not even pinball. Come
Well,
on.
not anymore, it got banned.
Well, deservedly.
I've played Catacomb a good bit. I believe there's one here. I've never played it in a tournament setting though, so I'm actually excited to get the opportunity to watch this one and kind of see if how people react to playing this and how it will even be set up. It's going to be very interesting.
I think Catacomb actually is an interesting tournament game, although it is brutally hard.
Yes.
But there is strategies that you can use in the game. And, without having a playfield, like, sort of in front of us, there's no point in going through it right now. But there are strategies you can use to make this work. and there's strategies you can use to your advantage. Yes, it's going to have a higher variance than some of the modern games. So
It should be exciting then.
It'll be an interesting competition game. Next game, Stern Freefall.
Whoa.
I've never seen this game in my life.
There's one here, Evan. It's
Well,
like
I'm gonna
three
go check
rows
it out.
over.
It's a
I honestly
beautiful
have never
game.
played this game.
You know-
Playfield looks cool though.
okay.
I've ended up playing this one a couple times. I'm not gonna lie, but after playing it a couple times, I kind of felt like I was done with it. But now I need to play it again. Just by looking at it,
I mean, you,
taking a
I
second.
think we're
look,
gonna have
right?
to go check it out.
it's
here in a
super
bit.
exciting because, I mean, even on the flyer, it says ball accumulator launches up to 3 balls simultaneously onto the playfield for explosive playfield action.
Explosive.
Explosive.
You know what would be
Hey.
explosive?
Explosive.
If you took a Stern free fall and made it free fall off of a building, and then it would be explosive when it hits the ground.
Now I remember this. This was this in Louisville?
Yes.
We did use it in Louisville
Yes.
once.
Ah,
yes.
now it looks familiar. I remember playing this one and it
Um,
eating me alive.
This game is not a skill game. This game is based on pure luck.
That's not true.
It is
That's
true,
not true.
actually, Doug.
Roger Sharp would disagree with you.
Roger Sharp might disagree with me, but Roger Sharp would be wrong. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that.
So the next game is Stern's Guardians of the Galaxy Pro.
And I've got to be honest, more than any game coming out for this tournament, I am curious to see how they are going to alter this game for tournament play, because I think everybody sitting around me knows what to do.
Oh yeah.
There was one thing to do, then they came out with new code, and now there's a whole other thing to do that I think is even more broken than the original thing to do.
Well, don't forget, we are 2 weeks away from the Stern Papa Circuit Final. And that's plenty of time for another code update. Not saying I know anything because I don't,
Yeah.
but
I see that
Just
look.
the inflection.
stuff could happen.
And the inflection in your voice says you know something.
He does know
Yeah,
something.
I'm
don't
definitely
know
getting
any-
that.
He's like the
literally don't know
worst
anything.
poker player you've ever met.
I want to play poker with Doug.
No, you
I
don't.
played Guardians
You
of the
really
Galaxy with
don't.
Doug too. This is an enjoyable game in my opinion. I like aiming for the tough shots, the orb, and trying to stack them, trying to stack my multi-ball, and trying to get a really nice mode going into it. It's a lot of fun.
I'm not willing to commit on what I think of Guardians of the Galaxy as a long-term game yet, because I don't believe the code is where it's going to be at the end.
And I think at the end it's going to be an awesome game. 'Cause like Chris, I love the art, I love the flow, I love the movie. It's got so much
I
massive
love the
potential here.
soundtrack. So
that too,
I,
it's
I gotta
killer.
say, I love the soundtrack.
So moving on to the next game, Stern Galaxy.
Good stuff.
Awesome game.
Nothing
I've
bad I
played,
can say about
I've played
Galaxy.
multiple location galaxies, and whether it's in someone's house, part of the private collection, or playing I believe I played one whenever I was in Indesk as well. I'm not sure if it was on location or not, but I've played multiple versions, and it's funny how you try one on one particular galaxy, and then you can't do it on another. I remember being able to shoot up and down the in lanes, like shatzing back and forth to build up that bonus, and then all of a sudden I couldn't do it on another game. And then aiming for the spinner right up the middle whenever it's lit. Sometimes I find it, sometimes I don't.
And that's really satisfying when you hit that lit spinner.
Oh, certainly.
So I don't know. I don't even know. I've lost count. But the next game is Stern Meteor. Who doesn't like Stern Meteor?
I'm a pretty big fan of Stern Meteor.
I like Meteor. Doug, you
John,
own
what
one.
do you think?
Negative John doesn't like Stern Meteor.
Negative. No. Stern,
wonder why.
Stern Meteor is probably the best of the classic Sterns that you've listed so far, in my opinion.
I agree.
Even
it's,
though
it's a
you know
lot of fun.
it recently has given me great pain.
Did
Do you care to talk
did
about
you
that
lose
in
a
depth?
tournament on
Like,
Meteor recently?
Let's put it
One
this
that we
way.
talked
So,
about?
Meteor is not like my worst loved game. So like I have all these games that I used to love, and then I lost huge amounts of money or huge opportunities on them. You know, Flash Gordon comes to mind in my case. But you know, like Meteor, I want to play the next tournament game on it. I really do. I'm always looking forward to it.
Well, you'll be in Chicago, so
Agreed.
you might have a chance. So the next game, you might like this one too, Stern Sea Witch.
Big fan.
Even better.
Beautiful. I love the layout. I love being able to aim for the orbits whenever
Orbits
the,
are
the
great.
spinner lit for big points, and I really like the danger factor whenever you're trying to hit and aim for those lit drop targets to advance your bonus stats.
And you have to do it. You,
You
have
have
to
to.
do it. I mean, well, I guess you don't have to, but you should do it.
You should definitely do it.
I think this was the game in Team League. I set the lowest possible 3-ball score ever a couple years ago. So I know all about danger.
So
It was like 2,000 points for the whole game.
Are you a fan of the game, though, Evan?
Oh, I love Sea Witch.
Classic. It's absolutely classic. So the next game is Modern Stern Star Wars. Relatively new release.
So
No,
is the
definitely.
tournament game going to be a premium or LE given the picture we have available here?
I think it was a pro, actually.
Okay. And the difference is being that kind of habit trail that throws the ball around in a hyperloop.
The
which
Hyperloop.
is kind of
Hyperloop.
cool.
My gosh, I love the art package on this. My gosh, I love the theme.
This game has a crazy rule set.
Very crazy.
I think it's a horrible tournament rule set, and I hate to say it, but let me tell you why. Let me justify it. It looks great. It sounds great. It plays great, but I don't like the idea that you can hit a button for 20 times multiplier. I'm sorry, it just doesn't really work in my mental. This is good for pinball subset.
This game definitely takes more advantage of the button than anything to date.
It's an
so.
interesting mechanic because this game actually, if you want to play this game for big points and in competition, you have to take your hands off the flippers and use the
Yeah.
button. You have to.
Or use your
It
chin.
Doesn't
Your
or
chin,
use
your forehead,
use
your
your
face.
chin or your foot or whatever you got available.
Well, I mean, I used to be able to use my chin to get down on buttons, but that period of time has passed.
And the final game,
Yes.
Pinball Excitement,
Pinball excitement.
Data East RoboCop.
The world's
The
first
Wrecking Crew is here.
the
What?
world's first solid state flipper.
Good stuff. I've
mean-
played RoboCop many a times, and I think I've enjoyed all but one.
Legendary
I
game.
mean, sweet jumps. That's
Sweet
where
jumps
it's at.
all day.
There's we
Spinner.
don't need to say
Spinner
anything
up, sweet
else.
jumps.
I mean, yeah, lots of
sweet
jumps. There's footage, I think, of just about all these games with the exception of Star Wars and Guardians out on our YouTube channel, which I'm hoping to get one of those down here soon so we can play it for you guys. But we're going to move on now to our next game, which is going to be the Williams Classic Fire.
Fire.
With an exclamation point.
Fire exclamation point.
Smoke, she is rising.
Oh, wow. We get
Fire.
singing from John.
it.
This is
Take it.
awesome. I'm
Good
just going to
stuff.
mute my own mic and listen to John sing.
Well, now we get to see
Dan
John
Hall, our
dance
tech today,
because he will be playing some fire.
he cleaned this game and he polished the bell.
It's a beautiful
I gotta be
looking
honest,
bell.
Wow.
I
that is
practiced-
a shiny bell.
Yeah.
I practiced a few games on this. It plays phenomenally
Yeah.
well.
The
It-
pitch
it
on
really
that
was
bell.
clean, nice.
So before we start, are you guys going to do that little thing? You know, that new thing we're doing.
Hey, yeah.
That new thing we're doing, where we're going to give you guys 45 seconds, and you guys are going to tell us all about how to play Fire.
Coming right up.
Somebody's going to do it.
All right, so here's the fire keys to the game.
Boom.
Number 1, there's a fire. Basically, you need to put out some fires. Put out fires to score points. Clear the 3 banks of fires to score more. Put out all the fires on the left or right banks to light that side's lock. Next up, number 2, put it out quick. More fires show up over time, but decreasing the fire value multiplier by 1 stage and potentially adding a new fire bank. Then we got pull the plug. At the beginning of your ball, the plug will pop up between the flippers, kind of like a siren ball saver. Shooting the turnaround, which is the center shot up the middle, or completing either ramp, will pop up the plug for a few seconds. Good way to keep your ball in play, and a good way to aim for your next shot and make it work.
You know, even with those pop-ups between the flippers and the center, I somehow still managed to lose a ball down the middle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it
Wow.
definitely happens.
I won't admit to that.
I hope it happens.
I love the cow mooing whenever
Okay.
you press start.
So you press start, there's a cow mooing, but the skill shot is actually pretty unique on this game.
Why don't you tell us about it? I know looks like John's kind of aiming for it right now.
John almost perfected it. So there's like 5 switches in the plunger lane up toward the top, and then a large switch stand up at the back. The values kind of increase up toward 100,000 in the middle of that set of 5-6 switches, and then rapidly decrease back toward 1,000 if you hard plunge it all the way into the stand-up target. So you kind
Yeah.
of need to just finesse that plunge
Very
about
finesse.
halfway up there to get that 100,000 shot.
And those points really do accumulate. You know, getting 100,000 a pop after you lock a ball, that's potential of 300,000 points just from pulling back the plunger.
Right. There's not just 3 skill shots in the game. There's a multitude of ways to get a ball served back to the plunger, notably on a lock shot, and you've got another chance at 100,000 points, which when we start seeing some of the overall scores for this game after a few games here, you'll see that pretty significant points there just on the skill shot.
Yep. And now with that shot, as you can see, he had the plug up from the center, at which he was able to chill and not be worried about losing his ball. So he was able to get control, lock the ball, and now he's got another skill shot.
Yep. And you'll hear in the background there's an audio cue, kind of an increasing tone to let you know when that pop-up's about to drop back down. So this is probably not the best game to be playing with a headset on and headphones and listening to music, because you may chill your ball right down the middle.
You might miss out on those cues that kind of help you realize that you're actually safe. Good control there. He got the ball to the flipper. Now he needs to aim up the middle. Ooh.
Oh.
Rejected off of the barn doors, as I like to call them.
Come on, game. That was 4 nice shots.
I counted 2, but that was not bad.
Well,
So
you
what
missed
you-
the first 2.
I definitely was blinking, yes.
What
That
the
was a
people
very
watching on the
shot.
stream that they can't see with the top-down view of that camera is that there's actually a ramp with that little ladder there in the top center of the playfield that lifts up and allows you to shoot a ball up that ramp into a kind of a center catch that'll start multi-ball, which
And
John had already locked the balls. We didn't get a chance
he
to
locked
talk
the
about
balls.
it
He
because
went
he's so
right
good.
into it. And just as you mentioned before, John did indeed lose a ball with the plug up down the middle.
I saw that, and he's shaking his head.
So now he's trying to save the girl.
And
as
how
you
does he
can see,
do that?
Saying, "Help me." I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I know that you want to hit a ramp for your jackpot. He locked the ball whenever it was blinking on the right. That was that green blinking light. There's a ramp shot.
And those ramps are
Gave him an extra
extremely
ball.
steep.
Very steep. And whenever
and
you
narrow.
hit them, they come right back in your face. And dare I say, firing back in your face. No pun intended.
Oh.
So
Plug
yeah,
was
those
not up.
those 2 rescue victim inner ramps there are a steep pitch to a dead stop. So there's no way for that ball to continue on through. They're coming right back to your flipper.
Yeah, and you really need to be ready whenever you're not able to hit something, or whenever you don't have your plug up, because you're going to be playing with a very, very fast, out of control ball coming straight down.
Right. So you'll see there's little arrows, orange arrows that I guess are supposed to represent kind of flames there.
The fire.
It's a really cool feature. And so as John proceeds in hitting those various lit fire targets, you'll see kind of the house in the center of the playfield get steadily lit.
Yeah, steadily catching more and more on fire. I really like the little rolling light in the center of the playfield while you're in the middle of a multi-ball, where it looks like the fire is burning. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I want to hopefully see we can get that lit. What's neat, there's like you mentioned, there's a big roller underneath the playfield on a motor, and there's basically 2 automotive bulbs that kind of make it look like it's
illuminate the
catching
entire
fire.
thing,
Yeah, it's a neat feature.
It's very, very cool. That was a good nudge. Saved it from the outlane and out. Got a couple dangers though. He's playing with fire here. Oh,
Tilt. Still a really nice ball.
I'm
Playing
so
with
full
fire
of puns.
here,
I'm so
nice.
full of puns. I'm sorry. Trying to get it out.
So John basically had a flame out there, and
Wow, you guys have read that.
He nudged it towards the outlane and he got burned.
yes, he did. He got burned.
All right, so that's how you play fire right there. I'm going to come up here and play horribly and just rewind and watch John play again.
It's all right. Let's see if we can get this skill shot. Try to take a little bit of one of my other favorite
100,000.
So
black black belt. Gentle touch, score much.
Fred's officially been deemed the Monster Basher, and we'll see how this parlays into rescuing ladies.
5,000.
So he plunged too hard there.
Too far, only got 5,000 points. So now he's going to start shooting some ramps and some orbits. That basically helps build the fire, so it'll eventually light his locks. So you don't need to shoot the stand-up targets on the sides, at least from what I'm getting, because whenever I step up to this, I'm always aiming for those orbits. I mean, strictly aiming for the stand-ups is pretty dangerous. And also, whenever you shoot the orbits, it brings up your plug.
Right. So those orbits in the current mode are basically that, orbits. Ooh, that's a tough terrain. They feed the ball basically around in a circle back to the opposite flipper. And once those are lit for locks, both those orbits become ramps, this game has a lot of three-dimensionality to it that I really enjoy.
And one thing I just thought of
nice
doing.
shot.
Yeah, look, he finally got it. He got that really,
Thank you.
the high button. Yeah, very good.
My
very
work here
good.
is done.
It makes me wonder if this would be a decent game to try to learn how to do some, like the orbit passes, because you're safe because your plug's up. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So it kind of makes you, it might help you build your confidence, because whenever you're trying to learn a new skill, you need to do it over and over and over and over again just to kind of trust your skills, so to speak.
Well, and you kind of set yourself up for a question here, one that, as I've been trying to improve my skills, is something I wanted to ask of you or John, of games like Fire or Medieval Madness or AC/DC with these just blistering speed orbit shots that are coming around rapid fire to the opposite flipper. How do you get that ball back under control?
I'd say the first thing I do whenever I'm doing something like that is I test it. As long as it doesn't matter. If I'm stepping up to a game for the first time, if I don't get any practice,
Okay.
obviously I'm just going to try my best to do a controlled flip just to get it out of the way. Obviously it might put it in danger, but at least I'm the one putting it in danger and not letting the orbit control where it goes. Otherwise, I'll do things like shoot an orbit and then hold up the opposite flipper and see what happens. Shoot an orbit and then don't hold up the flipper at all and see what happens. And then doing those tests, you kind of get an idea of how you're going to want to handle it.
Okay. So that might be an opportunity for a ball save or something on a modern game to test out some of those things, because sometimes in tournament play, we don't get a chance to practice on the games ahead of
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
Yeah, CDs, I've heard you say before that you use the first multi-ball of a game to test out a bunch of those different kinds of things.
Yeah, well, if I can get to a multi-ball, unless it's a multi-ball where I know I've got a lot of things going into it, do I have a mode stacked? Am I able to use this multi-ball to test out the shots, like you're saying? Just test out certain things. How's a scoop going to kick out? How is a feed from a ramp going to respond? If I hold up the flipper, can I flipper pass? You know, just a lot of things I like to test with that first multi-ball to kind of get in the flow of things.
So Aton actually had a really nice ball there. He's really set up for his ball too, with both of his locks all ready to go.
Yeah, you can almost kind of tell that he had a decent ball. I mean, with his score, obviously, but it looked like he was actually able to make some shots, and he might have his locks lit, and he can ready to go into another big multi-ball.
I think John was just fractions of an inch away from getting the maximum skill shot there.
Looks like he's aiming for some of those risky targets, trying to light his fires. Shooting up the middle, and that little turnaround shot that's actually around that ladder.
Oh!
Wow, that was mean.
Sometimes... Oh, fireman trapped. He got the ball back.
Okay, so
It
the
locked
reason
his-
I got
What
it
just
back-
happened here?
So when it pops out of the lock, there was a lot of times where it would pop out of the locks and go right out the out lane.
Yes.
That time it went across the playfield and out the out lane. I didn't think I was getting it back, but there's a ball save mechanism for that, so that you don't just insta-drain out of your locks, which is pretty cool.
That's good, because that would be very frustrating, especially after making a big shot like that where you lock a ball and you're really advancing towards something big.
Right. And
To
you
lose
should
a
be
ball.
you should be rewarded for doing something like that. And
Oh,
penalized,
certainly,
so.
certainly. Oh, I can say that didn't look good coming straight down the middle.
And there was no plug.
It curved.
4 bell hits. He accumulated the bonus X by going around that orbit, kind of to the sides of the ladder up the middle.
Okay, Fred did not get a lot of chance to play here, ball 1.
But he can still put out some fires. A nice in lane there. Now
All
he's
right.
got his locklet on his left orbit there.
So what's cool is the right shot is still an orbit, and the left shot is
Oh.
now a ramp to a lock.
I used it my Pinball Mojo last game.
Yeah, I guess he can still be the Monster Basher, but that's it.
He's the fire starter.
Fire starter.
All right, so a question about the rules here. when John was in multi-ball, we saw him relock a ball. Is that just to permit him single ball play in that multi-ball?
I don't believe so. I think locking a ball, it might increase your jackpot. I'm really, really drawing a blank here, obviously, so I'm very sorry. But I know that if locking a ball during your multi-ball, it's going to kick it right back out again.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I'm not entirely sure, but I think in my practice game, it doesn't hold that ball for a lock. It was very long.
It's
that
not
it
like
kind of re-ejects it back onto the playfield.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it might give you a chance at a controlled shot because it might kick out of the lock and go down an in lane, and you can have a nice controlled shot to,
Okay, so
just put out some fires.
Aton has made the right lock shot. If he can get the ball under control, he wants to make the left orbit for his other lock shot.
He's got his plug up, so
Nice
he's able
use.
to bounce it.
Oh! That plug went down.
The plug,
I don't know if you
went
see
down.
it.
plug is gone.
Plug went down.
Shoot
Oh,
again,
did I get
Aton.
You did get an extra ball, sir.
This is really good that I'm playing with you guys. I would have walked away.
Firefight again.
All right.
He lives to fight another fire.
So he's got
And
his
he
lock
plunged way too
complete
hard.
on his left. There's
Yeah.
the
There we
lock
go.
on the right.
Hey!
I think it's very interesting how if your lock is lit on the left, it actually locks the ball on the right.
It's basically an orbit still, but with a ramp.
Yes. It's
Which
a
is really
really
cool.
It's a really cool concept how the ramp, whenever it stays up, it reacts as the completion of the ramp where it locks the ball.
Okay.
It's a really, really cool mechanism.
So he completed both locks, and then that lit
The
either
ladder came
orbit, which he then hit
And now the ladder's
to basically raise the ladder. So again, you guys can't see that on the stream, but the ladder at the top center of the playfield is sitting on a ramp that is now up. And so with a dead center shot, oh my goodness.
Oh, the
Oh,
plug
that's what I'm supposed to shoot for.
saved
Thanks.
by the plug.
Yes, the dead center ramp will start your multi-ball,
I
sir.
have played this game maybe twice in my life.
You're looking good.
You did not listen to the keys to the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention.
Up the middle, my friend. He's got the plug up. He's still making those orbit shots up the middle.
Yeah,
He's
I
up
feel like
to a 5x
go with what's working.
bonus. He's still having trouble getting it through that little barnyard door up the ladder. That'll pull up.
For the love of Pete, trap up.
no,
No
never.
trapping. He's now up to 10x bonus.
Oh my gosh, he's just crushing that upper
There
orbit.
it is.
There it is.
Nice.
Nice shot.
All right.
Sirens go off. Multi-ball starts.
Awesome things are about to happen.
Just
There you
needed
can
some
see
time.
that
And you can see the rotating
that fire
lights.
roller in the middle
Yeah,
of the
the
playfield.
rotating fire
Awesome.
lights are fun. So let's see if we can pay
There we
attention and
go.
see
There
what
we
happens.
go.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh
Instant
my
drain.
gosh.
Instant drain. I wasn't gonna get any points for that anyways.
Help. Fire. And then as soon as you come out of multi-ball, you can go right back to work. You have to put out more
There's
fires.
not enough water in the world to quench that
Good ball.
multi-ball. Still, look at that bonus, 400,000 points.
Yes. And the bonus X is interesting because it goes 2x, 3x, 5x, 7x, 10x.
That's pretty unique increments there.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you, it kind of makes it worth aiming for. I mean, 400,000 points is nothing to sneeze at.
And that inner orbit's just kind of a fun shot. It comes back to the flipper pretty cleanly.
Yeah, and it also has the potential of hitting some of the, like the rebound rubbers up top, so it can hit some more of those stand-ups up top.
Right, there are two slingshots that are in the upper center of the playfield, down and to the left and right of that ladder to kind of feed off the 6 stand-ups up there.
He's locked the ball and ready for another skill shot.
So one thing I discovered earlier while practicing this with the lock shots is just above the green blinking
Whoa.
light.
I was going to say, you should always be ready with this game.
Wow, that wasn't nice.
That was unfortunate. He shot his lock shot, and as it was coming around the orbit and going across the up ramp to lock the ball, it bounced over the railing.
That's exactly what I was about to talk about. Was there's a little fence there just above the green light on each lock shot that's supposed to kind of feed the ball into the lock hole.
Nice
And on this game, if you drill that lock shot, it will basically ramp over that little fence.
Yes, it goes all the way around.
And you don't get credit for the lock either.
See?
You
Same
Did it
exact
again.
thing.
You just hit it too hard.
You're hitting it
clean.
too perfect, John.
Stop being so perfect.
Stop being so good.
Excellent nudge.
There you go. All right, now hit this one dirty. You'll be all right. Too dirty.
Okay, now what?
It's giving him the lock shot on the other side now.
Let's do that.
I think it's because they know that it's been failing on the left. That makes you wonder if it's trying to
There we
hey,
go.
aim over here.
See if we can plunge that 100 grand.
I don't think he's made the 100 grand
Once,
yet.
but
Once.
that's just my
Close.
luck. There's a little bit of resistance in the shooter, and it's hard to get it consistent.
Still, when you can get 1,000, 30,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Okay, so a quick shot to the orbit, lifts the center ramp, bam, done.
Plugs it. That's another pun if you think about it. And we are ready for multi-ball. Let's hope his can last a little longer than Aton's. But right
you
there,
see
as
that?
you saw, that was the poor release where it bounced out of the lock, hit off the top of the slingshot, and just drained right to the out lane. All right, he's got some control here. Aiming for a fire. Oh, no.
There's
Don't
such
tilt.
Don't tilt.
there's such great multi-ball
It's gonna
music
tilt.
on this game too.
It's not going to tilt. I thought it was
And
going to tilt.
back to single ball play.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
done.
that's
Oh.
He knew it. He called it as it was making its way.
I don't know why the bass music to this game reminds me of Champion Pub.
It is kind of like old-timey. I like it. The nice siren as it's counting up your bonus.
I'm going to lock a ball.
All right, Fred. Show us what you got.
It's ready on the left, sir.
I just want to lock a ball. That's it.
And then walk away.
That's right. Walk
He's
off.
got his plug up. See if he can lock it.
Oh, I didn't lock a ball.
There it is. Will it stick?
Oh, it
No.
does not stick. You guys are crushing
a
the shot
jerk.
too clean.
Now, do you guys think there's anything you could
Jerk
do
ball.
to kind of prevent that from happening? Like, what if you were going to set
Shoot
this
it
up
softer.
tournament style? How would you try to prevent that from happening? Because you don't want to really punish a player for making your shot.
Right. So if it were me, right above the green dots is where we're seeing that trouble. So above that, there's a ramp with a sharp bend in it, and the ball's just hopping that. If it were me, I'd try to put like one of those blue rubbers or something to kind of deaden that ball as it comes around that turn.
Yeah.
And hopefully it won't jump over the.
Yeah, or
the
maybe
ramp
you can
there.
almost kind of put something on there to make the ramp taller, so the wall is bigger for it to jump over. That
Right.
might
I don't know how
help.
you'd build it up. I guess that's a possibility, but one of those blue nubs that they call them and some hot glue and
Yeah.
might be good to go. But this honestly is the only fire I've
He
ever
got
seen this happen
another
on.
100,000 skill shot. If anything, that guy can plunge.
I have one skill.
Hey, it's a good skill to have.
That's a perfect lock shot.
That was excellent. And it's stuck in everything. That should be the other one.
All right.
All right, here
All right.
we go.
So James, you're going for the orbits here, I think. Yes.
Shoot an orbit. You'll hear screaming, "Help me!" And then you go up the middle. That'll bring up the ladder. And now he must go up the middle. Or he just wants to orbit.
He just likes the sound. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
All right, let's see how this kick out treats him.
All right, so watch that kick out,
the
especially on the
right.
right side. You might have to give it a little tap.
Oh.
Clean.
Nice and clean.
Your post is up, sir.
Plug. All right. He's trying for a cradle separation. And he separated them.
They're separated. So all that work for nothing.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
I think that was a good play right there, though, because his plug was up, so he knew that even if he kind of flubbed a little bit of a post pass, it was safe.
And the plug goes
And
right
the
down
plug
just
went
as
away.
the ball hops across the center there.
I beat Fred though, and I beat Jake. All right. So, how do you play this game again?
You got this.
Okay.
Shoot that green
Hit the
pig.
green dot.
Hit the green dot. I'm on it. All
We'll
right.
hit the shot behind the green dot.
Okay,
First,
I'll
there's a skill shot. Don't hard plunge.
Okay.
You're trying to get the 100,000 in the
100,000.
middle.
Get the
That's
hundo.
too hard.
Too light.
No.
Too light. Never
How
mind.
much is that worth? 10,000.
Well, it's better than the hard
Oh,
plunge.
Hey!
All right.
nice shot, Aton. Nice
Now,
shot.
should I shoot for the other green one?
Yeah.
You will not
Yes.
have the other green one lit yet, I
You
don't
will
think.
need to put out some fires first, or you need to light.
Man,
Do you
talk-
light fires first and then put out fires?
I think they just randomly come on.
Oh.
I
I think you nudged that one out, Aton.
nudged something out. Hey.
Arson.
Ding ding. Fireman 1. you
Fireman
are
1.
needed.
Enter your initials.
Successful quenching.
That was a pretty strong game there by John, who is putting in the initials F, Y. Give me an R?
I don't know what he's going for here.
I think he's going to put an R in. Or it's
FYI.
an FYI.
For your
Indignation.
Good stuff.
So this will be, we're going to start up one more game, and then those will be the last game of the evening, as John is mooing for whatever reason. That's why the cows started in these Williams games.
Isn't that what this game was based off of? Was some kind of a fire?
the Chicago Fire.
The Chicago
Chicago
fire that
Fire.
was started by a cow. Is that correct?
I don't know anything about that.
Something in a barn. I remember hearing someone talk about it. Let's see if we can get that information. We've got Evan on the case. But I'm pretty sure I remember someone telling me about that, and it was a very, very interesting tidbit.
Whoa.
So John's the center strategy just backfired on him. It went right down the
Oh,
middle.
it backfired.
But the payoff, obviously, you saw last game was pretty great for him. He was telling me that his strategy in this game is to pretty much shoot up to the middle pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, because by going through that little orbit up top, not only do you get the bonus X, but it also puts your plug up.
So Chicago
And a
Fire happens to be an amazing America drama series on NBC, but that's not what we're looking for here.
I mean, it could play into it. We've got Jake here seeking redemption. He's got a
Jake-
couple fires lit on his orbit still, and now his lock is now lit on the right. Nice.
Jake has the headphones on for this game, so
So he can hear us.
he can hear
You
us.
can also talk back and
I was gonna say he can hear us critiquing him.
Ding.
He just saved somebody. Nice dead bounce.
Plugs up.
yes, the Chicago Fire was Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Is
There you
the
go.
rumor to blame for knocking over a lantern, essentially burning the entire city to the ground back in the
1871.
1871.
The amount of
It might have
random
been a
trivia.
well-done cow.
Yeah, the amount of random trivia that we find out in the chat room sometimes is mind-boggling to me.
What are they saying? I actually can't read the chat.
Yeah, we
from
can't
what I'm
see it.
saying.
I was just
Tessier basically said that Great Fire of 1871 was allegedly caused by a cow kicking over a lantern, as you mentioned, Evan. So
All right. Thanks, Tessier.
I think that cow was also responsible for the Cubs' amazing World Series drought.
No, that was Steve Bartman.
Oh, okay.
That was Steve Bartman.
Okay. But they're good now. Cubs are good. Cubs
they're
fans are
okay.
happy.
Yeah.
It was good to see that.
Bartman can come out in public again.
We have completely gone off on a tangent. It has nothing to do with this game whatsoever.
Hey,
Sure it
it's all
does.
right. It's all entertaining right now. But now we can be entertained by Aton.
Yeah.
Can we, though?
Well, we can.
Okay.
Oh.
I won't. I will deny you.
Deny that. That was rough. Now, for that last drain, I think if you were able to see it coming, maybe a shove forward would have been able to get some rubber on that, or some metal.
Maybe. That just took a hard left turn, though.
It might have had some spin on it, too, because it was hitting the rubbers up top. So it could have had a little bit of English on it that kind of sent it even further over. Oh.
That definitely, if
there's
you
a-
pushed it forward, you would have got that
Yes,
ball out of there.
He let that ball choose the out lane.
So James Coons, there's a reason why he's always on the producer's desk.
Well, that's terrible.
And I just wanted to put it out there. You know, he is the president of the Steel City Pinball League. Not John, but that is James, president of the Steel City Pinball League Players Union.
Players Union.
So he, you know, you have a problem with, you know, ruling or something like that. James is the man to call.
But Chris, I mean, you and John, I gotta be honest. I think my personal improvement in play over, especially the last couple of months with respect to nudging, has just been watching a lot of your guys' play.
Oh,
And it's not just hitting the
good.
cabinet in any which random way. There's
definitely
certain methods and times to do it.
Oh, certainly.
Don't feed their egos, Evan.
I kind of feel
No,
like
I'm going to be
yeah,
honest.
yes.
It's really made a massive difference in my play. I thought I self-noticed it in my Monster Bash play earlier. That
Oh, definitely.
No,
It's
you talking
always
balls
nice.
that I definitely would not have saved even 6 months ago.
Yeah, we've talked about it at length. Just whenever you're playing in a casual situation like this, we want to inform people, but we're having fun, as you can find. You can plainly see. But
No dangers.
watching
hit.
people play and their mannerisms when they play, you pick things up that one day you don't have in your repertoire, and then the next time you're playing, you're like, oh, I can do that too, and you improve your game, and it's great to watch the players that we have in the Pittsburgh area, and then also in tournaments, just to learn more pinball skills.
I think one of the most key nudging moves you can make with respect to the out lanes is don't let the ball get in there to begin with. So
Yeah.
if you can nudge a ball
Right.
off the top of a slingshot off some piece of rubber or something else and get it out of there,
Oh,
then there's no more decision to be made whether that ball is going to end up in the in lane or out lane.
Yeah, Chris did that during Monster Bash a couple times where
Right.
the ball was near the out lane, and it was far enough away that he could have a reaction to it, and then he just timed it and popped it out. And if it isn't going down there, then you don't have any danger. But you have to know when and how much you have to push it, because tilts might be set tight
Right.
yep.
or what have you. But we got Jake seeking redemption, and he just started the multi-ball.
Started
So
that multi-ball.
slight
Ready to
redemption
go.
there.
All right, so watch that feed coming out of the right. It's been a little rough.
So far,
Oh.
so good. But he
Oh.
had an up and over on the left or.
Oh, we were watching the ball go out the right. We went out the left.
Siren still going off. He's trying to climb up.
Oh, terrible. Boo.
I don't think that girl was saved.
No, she's a goner.
I was mentioning to John, if you hit that target where it says rescue victim, it sounds like she's screaming like she doesn't want to be saved. It's terrible. It sounds like she's actually getting hurt. I don't know why.
You'd think she'd want to be
Fire it
saved,
up.
Fred.
I would think so too, but she screams. Like if somebody hits that target, listen to what it does.
Hey, Jake,
Pyromaniac cow counselor.
Jake,
Wow.
What does that even mean?
don't leave that poor woman in.
Well, if the
She died, Jake.
okay, so if the cow lived through the Great Fire of 1871, somebody has to talk to him and make him feel better, because he would be just overwrought with I don't know what the word is here.
Guilt.
Guilt, yes. So you gotta have a cow counselor.
I gotta be honest, when I eat cow, there's no guilt whatsoever.
Maybe it's Harry Carey. I don't know.
That would be a holy cow.
Holy cow!
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
So Jake is still seeking redemption here.
He's actually putting up an impressive score to start. He's currently in the lead.
All right, so unfortunately, Jake is in charge of putting out a bunch of fires.
Oof.
Which, as far as we know, can be accomplished not only by hitting any of those lit stand-up targets with the orange-yellow arrows, but I think an orbit shot will also
It will.
advance you toward multi-ball.
And the in-lanes.
lock.
Yeah, it's almost like it spots it.
Okay.
And then is it a lit in lane that does it?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yeah. So right now it's on the right, but I believe if it hits the slings at the top, it'll
Oh.
alternate between left and right. So if it goes down the in lane that's lit, you'll get a fire target spotted.
So probably the least dangerous ways of getting your lock lit would probably be the upper center flame targets
Yes.
and the orbits, I would say.
And definitely the orbits.
Which is why John is playing up the middle most of the time. So
Especially whenever you're able to make either of the orbits, the outer orbits being the ones that lock your balls, or the inner orbits, which are around that ladder up the middle. Making both shots brings up your plug. So just in case that ball comes screaming back at you, you're able to play it safe.
So I haven't seen yet what the advantage is
Whoa.
to, hitting either of those really steep rescue victim ramps on either side.
you get extra balls.
You
for
get extra
those.
balls.
Okay. Well, at the risk of losing a ball to get an extra ball,
Yes.
it's kind
So
of a toss-up.
if you're able to make it all the way up the ramp and hit the target in the back, you get a lot of points. You get extra ball and put your plug up. So it's great. But
Wow.
the downside of not coming and actually hitting the target at the top of the ramp, is it's coming right back in your face. And,
Right.
and you're going to need to flip that away. You're going to need to dead bounce it over. You're going to need to do something. And you need to make a split decision. Otherwise, you're going to lose the ball.
This game is so mean. So, like, I had both balls locked, and now I don't even have the lock slit anymore. It takes
Yes.
away. So, like, not only do I lose the multi-ball that was ready, I can't even lock the balls back again.
He has to put out more fires.
he
or
doesn't even
maybe
have a
start
fire
more
yet.
Fires.
John's got
Without-
real-world problems here.
He's got nothing lit.
Yeah.
And he
seriously.
plunged way too hard, so.
I don't know. After draining after 10 seconds of plunging his ball, James is going to launch an investigation to make sure these games are set up to spec.
Now, I haven't been paying attention too much, but is his bonus X carrying from ball to ball?
It shouldn't be.
It sure looks like it did.
I don't think he has 2 times.
Oh, that was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Oh, maybe it is because he's lit. He has 3 times lit right now.
No,
so
he just got a 2x, so.
I don't know. It's kind
Is
of
that a different multiplier
It's
in the
kind
center
of
of the playfield?
confusing me.
well, no, it goes 2, 3, 5, 7, 10. So
See, right now his 10x is blinking, but I don't think he has 10x bonus.
Or even 7x.
Yeah, well, he has 7x solid.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see if he drained right now if he would get 7x.
I'll tell him to drain.
I think the game's going to just tell him to
Well,
drain
that's
here.
it's probably going to happen on its own. I think the bonus multiplier is down in the
Oh,
lower center
yeah.
of the playfield.
I didn't even
Is
recognize
it counting
those
down
there.
now?
And
Oh, that's like the hurry up thing that what is it?
Your plug's up, Jake. Your plug's up.
fires.
Don't forget, Jake.
That was actually a part of our play.
that was a
plugs.
good nudge.
That was beautiful. So his whoa. That was wicked.
Some frame
So
rate
the
issue.
bonus X is actually the lights that are right above the word fire in the center of the playfield down
So
by
those
the flippers.
go 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Interesting.
So I think that 7X that's currently blinking up top, I think that's like 7X the value of putting out a fire right now.
Well, I got Brian Tessier saying the top multipliers affect scoring on the fire targets and banks.
There you
Okay.
go.
Steve Daniels says the bonus you're looking at is the breakthrough window quickly bonus.
Ah.
All right.
I can definitely
So
see
where is the
either
bonus
or working.
multiplier bonus?
The bonus multiplier is above the word fire in the center of the playfield, right,
Right.
below the lit windows. You
And-
see how it has the kind of the yellow squares going across there?
Right.
I don't think Aton knows what he's pointing at. But
No, he's just putting down where the multipliers would be.
He's still looking good doing it though.
And then I think Brian here says the ones in the middle are score and
Fire
carry
it up.
over except
Fire
for
it up.
5, 7, and 10x.
Fire it up.
Okay, so if you only get 2 or 3, it will carry over. But as soon as you, if you maximize your bonus X, it will not carry over to the next ball. If I'm understanding that correctly. Get
Hey, the
me out
ladder's
of
up.
here. Ladder's up.
Let's see if
okay,
they
so you're just
climb
going
the
to
ladder.
Oh.
Nice nudge.
See, right now he's doing nudges kind of proactively.
Oh, nice.
And it's helping.
It's actually giving the ball more momentum to go out of there.
He definitely got robbed. It seemed like he shot that
And-
up the center and,
and
it
he
kind
does
of
not
ramped
like the-
out of it.
I love
Aton
those
is not a
little-
trapping person, so
It's a trap.
there.
Well,
All
there-
right.
He doesn't need a trap to do that. Look
Beautiful.
at him. He's on the fly. He's like, I'm playing.
All right, let's see if he gets a good feed to the in lane here. Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
And it just spits all the other balls out. Bleh. Nice shot.
Oh, he's in really good shape now. Nice cradle separation.
So that's building up his bonus.
All right, right orbit,
Still
sir.
in three ball play,
Thanks.
2 ball play.
This music's so good.
That's very enjoyable.
Oh, nice.
Plug is up. He's
Backhand.
really, he is just hitting
Oh.
all the things.
You say it like that, it sounds bad.
It's good, Aton. It's very good.
There it is.
Nice.
No, he didn't get it.
Oh, it spit it right out.
Yeah, because there's no grace period on these games, and the ball had to travel all the way around and go down the drain, or into the hole rather.
He went down a lit in lane there, which helped with a fire. There's another fire. Help, fire.
He's making all the shots.
That's an extra
That's
ball,
an
I
extra
believe.
ball.
This one's for you, Jake.
Jake is living through Aton.
All right, right orbit lock is lit.
Aton is just blowing it up. Uh-oh.
And a wedgie.
Okay,
Alright.
we need a tech.
Just wait. It'll release it.
Hey, the 80s were a great time for pinball.
Good stuff. And Aton is playing.
Hey, don't
very
worry, I got
well.
another ball.
He tempted
Don't worry,
fate.
he has another ball.
I know there was concern on the chat.
A 4-banger for 264.
Actually, no one in the chat cared.
That's okay. I still love them.
Of course you do. Shoot again.
Let's see if he can get a high score. He needs 4 million points total, and he's sitting at, what, 2.8?
2.87. 2 solid games
This
in a row
is-
by Aton.
Yeah, this is definitely within striking distance.
Uh-oh.
He just
Ooh,
needs to lock
see,
a
that
couple
was
balls.
the
That was very
preemptive
good.
nudge. Aton right orbit.
I think
Right
he's going
orbit.
up top because he wants to get some bonus X.
I just like
I
the
think he
sounds
just.
it makes when
I
he
was
does
gonna
that.
say I don't think he's going up there with any intention.
And that's why you should play pinball. Sounds and just making, having fun and making shots.
I like
Shots
the
that
blinking
feel
lights.
good.
Oh.
That was I flew
That's
too
my
close
favorite
to the
move.
sun.
Ding, ding, ding. Flew
3 mil.
too
Oh,
Nice
he
job,
broke it.
sir.
Good job.
James Coons.
Now let's see if James can do anything on this ball. Is this the final ball of the night here? All
I
right.
believe so. This could be the
No
fireball.
pressure, James. This is the one everyone's going to
I
remember.
mean, the whole union's riding on this ball, so
The Union rep. It's gone.
no.
Oh.
Very
Okay.
good.
all right.
Some very strong nudging. And it got the ball out of trouble, which is the purpose of your nudging. So, well played. I like it. Very. He like dead bounced that
Yep.
all over the place. That was
Oh, that was unfortunate.
and then the unfortunate
Slings.
sling drain.
They'll be looking for a new president of the Steel City Pinball Division now.
Brutal.
So that was
That was good.
That was
Strong play by Aton and strong play by Jake. Who are
Yeah.
the other two players?
John
in that round?
John had 4.7 million. So he put up a high score on that, and
Knocked me out.
we had fun on Monster Bash too, watching the slings drain the balls every time we played. So
Oh, that was fun. Just watching it drain while you're playing it too.
Was that you, Chris, who recommended we play fire?
That was not me.
that
Who
was by
was that?
request. That was actually by request on the page, I
That was
believe.
an awesome request.
It was a very good
So-
request. I mean, I definitely learned a lot that I actually didn't know. So I'm very happy with the outcome of that choice.
All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We have the number of people playing and the number of people commenting. I have Evan to my left with Chris and John and Doug and James and Jake, still seeking redemption. And just as a reminder, we'll be doing this again next Monday. I'm not sure what the games are next Monday. I don't know if we had that put up earlier. But, if you enjoyed what you did, what you saw tonight, come back and have fun with us next Monday
Most definitely.
at 7:30. And then make sure you tune in when we go to Chicago for the circuit final. We'll be broadcasting live from Chicago. Should be a good time. Lots of interesting games, and it'll be a lot of fun. So for everybody here, my name's Fred Cochran, and I thank you for tuning in, and have a great evening.
Take care,
Happy
everyone.
flipping.
See ya.